Chapter 162. After several days of marching, the entire team finally arrived at the border of the Land of Rain. The excitement has basically faded from the hearts of Wood Leaf Shinobi, leaving behind calmness on the battlefield. They are only happy because the war that has lasted for many years is finally over, but their cautiousness as ninjas will not change. In terms of reconnaissance, because of the unique advantage of the Hyuga Shinobi, several of them were sent out by Hyuga Amaterasu to explore the safety of the road ahead. At the same time, there are also various ninja hawks patrolling the sky. It can be said that in front of such a team that combines reconnaissance and combat power, only the Sand Shinobi would choose to launch an ambush on such an occasion. Akira Uchiha, who discovered this, also slowly relaxed. While slowly following the team, he taught Watergate and Mikoto various ninjutsu. After all, Orochimaru has completely handed over the first team to him, so he has the responsibility to improve the strength of his teammates. Rope Tree, who is a little master of seeking death, also didn't want to be left out. He stood alone on the top of the carriage, looking into the distance. "In a while, we will enter the Land of Fire," Rope Tree said excitedly. He could clearly see Orochimaru and Tsunade at the front of the team. "Very good, Rope Tree. Keep this position. You stand so high, so conspicuous, you can fully attract Sakura Shinobu's attention." Akira Uchiha took out a kunai and gestured in the air. Rope Tree touched his neck and immediately jumped down from the carriage. Soon, the long dragon-like team completely crossed the border of the Land of Rain. The whole sky was like a faucet being turned on, and the rain suddenly disappeared without a trace. This is the environment that people should live in. Akira Uchiha narrowed his eyes and felt the hot sun. For several months in the Land of Rain, he felt as if he was moldy, and his whole body was wet. But then again, the weather in the ninja world is really strange. The Land of Rain is raining all year round, but the Land of Wind doesn't rain all year round. If they set up a south-to-north water transfer project here, they should have a lot of money and prospects. Akira Uchiha's thoughts began to wander again. Soon, the team crossed the slightly flat road and began to walk along the man-made long sloping stone path towards the top of the canyon. As a result, the team, which was already slow to begin with, became even slower under the burden of the slope. "Pay attention to the security around us," Akira Uchiha reminded the three people beside him. In this kind of uphill place, people's vision was obstructed. In addition, there was a convoy of food and supplies on their side, so it was necessary to pay more attention to safety. It wasn't just Akira Uchiha's team that was on high alert. Most of Wood Leaf's teams were the same. "What's the situation?" Tsunade was far inferior to Orochimaru in terms of investigation. Now that she saw Orochimaru suddenly stop, her years of experience as a teammate told her that Orochimaru must have found something. "Just a few traps made by little insects." Orochimaru grinned. After finishing the hand seals, he squatted down and pressed his palms on the ground. A dull sound immediately came from the underground stone path, and it didn't take long for it to return to silence. "Tell the team behind that there is no problem, and by the way, let the ninjas help the civilians in the transport team, so that they can move a little faster." Orochimaru didn't guarantee that there wouldn't be a battle. However, the meaning behind his words was obvious. He had already fallen into a trap set by the Sand Village. There is no guarantee that there won't be any trouble next. "Uncle, I'll help you." The ordinary team in front was a little better, but Akira Uchiha was responsible for guarding the supply team, so the speed of the whole team was basically slowed down. "Thank you." The black-faced uncle was embarrassed and stepped aside for Akira Uchiha to facilitate his help. Ninjas have chakra bonus, so their strength is much greater than ordinary people. As the transport vehicle was pushed up little by little, the overall speed of the team increased and they crossed the long ramp. Although the next road was a little bumpy, it was a lot smoother. But at the same time, there seemed to be something at the end of the field of vision. There seems to be some people in the distance. Tsunade stared for a while, but after all, her vision was only at the level of an ordinary ninja, so she couldn't see the small dots in the distance. After less than 2 minutes, the information of the Hyuga ninjas in the front line was passed back. The result was that it wasn't ninjas from the Land of Wind, but a dilapidated village with a group of civilians begging for food. Well, I remember this village. 2 years ago, when we came here, I didn't expect it to still exist. Tsunade turned her head and said, "Well, let's keep going." Orochimaru ordered to the rear of the team. After about 10 minutes, the small dots at the end of the field of vision finally became visible figures. Because of the impact of the war, the village looked very dilapidated, as if the whole village was full of refugees. Their clothes were ragged, their expressions were sad, and the children's dry faces were covered with dust, looking very pitiful. "Ninja-sama." An old man who looked like the village chief knelt in front of Orochimaru. "Please give us some food." Orochimaru stopped, but didn't speak, just quietly looked at the people in front of him. The whole team began to stir. After all, these civilians looked really pitiful. After a while, a ninja finally couldn't stand it anymore. He was ready to call the ninja behind him to get some food from the food transport team and distribute it to these ordinary people. "I don't understand. What kind of courage can make you appear in front of me in this posture?" Orochimaru's eyes were very sharp. After saying this, he stabbed a kunai into the heart of the old man in front of him with lightning speed. Then in the next moment, the ordinary people who should have died suddenly turned into smoke and dissipated. In the next second, countless kunai shot towards Woodleaf's troops as if they didn't care about their lives. Chapter 163. Looking at the densely packed kunai, Woodleaf's troops were already prepared, and they immediately formed an earth wall. Orochimaru's body flashed, he crossed the high wall and rushed towards the enemy, while his hands quickly formed hand seals. Earth release, rock spear. When the rock turned into a spear and drilled out of the ground, the Sand Village's puppets also jumped out of the hidden ground. Not only Orochimaru's front team, but also the center, the rear, and Woodleaf's rear team were attacked by different numbers of Sakura Shinobu. Fire release. Phoenix Sage Fire Jutsu. Akira Uchiha jumped up. Dozens of head-sized fireballs spun like meteors and hit the Sand Village's ninjas. Boom! 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 The fireballs exploded among the Sand Village's ninjas, and a group of fire waves exploded among the crowd. Behind Akira Uchiha, Watergate and Rope Tree also jumped up and rushed towards the Sand Village's ninjas. Similarly, after a brief moment of panic, the other ninjas of Konoha shouted and rushed towards the enemy. For a moment, the scene seemed to stop. Woodleaf's ninjas and Sand Village's ninjas were separated by a small open space, and they rushed towards each other in a neat formation. Akira Uchiha held a kunai and collided with a Sand Village's captain. He waved the kunai in his hands, and the Sand Village's captain also waved the kunai in his hands. For a moment, sparks flew between the two. A Sand Village's ninja jumped up, grabbed the kunai with both hands, and wanted to stab Akira Uchiha from behind. Akira Uchiha glanced at the ninja, and Genjutsu immediately invaded the ninja's body. That person stood there in a daze. Akira Uchiha saw a gap, turned over and kicked the Sand Village's captain. Bang! The Sand Village's captain crossed his arms in front of his chest, blocked the kick, and then stepped back a few steps. After forcing the ninja back, Akira Uchiha jumped up and slashed Sakura Shinobu's neck. "This age, this strength. Are you Woodleaf's Reiko?" The ninja whispered, not caring about the death of his subordinates. "You're lucky. In our Sakura Shinobu village, if you encounter Woodleaf's Reiko, you can immediately give up the mission without pen. What, there is such a thing?" Akira Uchiha. "Isn't this the treatment of Watergate? There is such a good thing. Why didn't you say so?" Akira Uchiha was a little excited. The ninja, 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 and ninja ninja he's ninja, 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 ninja ninja, ninja. Yes, there is such a thing. All Sakura Shinobu must immediately give up the mission, and then kill Woodleaf's Reiko at all costs. The ninja sneered with a cold tone. "Yes, that kid over there is Woodleaf's Reiko." Akira Uchiha was a little embarrassed, raised his hand and pointed to the Rope Tree who was fighting bravely. "Ha!" The Sakura Shinobu captain was also surprised. Then a snap echoed in the air, and the Sakura Shinobu captain's eyes became a little dull. Fire release. Fireball Jutsu. A big fireball with a diameter of 2 meters was shot in front of Akira Uchiha, and it burned the Sand Village's captain diagonally. But before he could see the result of his ninjutsu, a ninja in the sky with a sword in both hands slashed at Akira Uchiha. He had no choice but to block the ninja's katana. Then, he turned around and kicked the ninja who had sneakily attacked him. After dealing with this ninja, without waiting for him to take a breath, more than 10 kunai shot at Akira Uchiha from the sky. Shadow Snake Hand. 6 pythons came out of Akira Uchiha's sleeves and rotated into a shield in front of him. The kunai nailed the pythons, but it didn't penetrate. The python's skin was very elastic, and it bounced the kunai away. As soon as Akira Uchiha landed, the chakra under his feet suddenly burst out, and rushed toward the rope tree like a streamer. Sakura Shinobu Ninja, you're too honest. Akira Uchiha scolded. He saw a piece of gravel suddenly rise in the sky. Earth Release Stone. A fist-sized stone like a bullet hit the rope tree, who was fighting with the enemy on the other side. Rope Tree's opponent saw the Sand Village captain's attack from the corner of his eyes and jumped up, pulling away from him. At the same time, 2 kunai were shot at the Rope Tree to attract the opponent's attention. And at this time, Rope Tree was facing the Sand Village captain, so he didn't see the opponent's attack. Water Release. Water Wall. Just as the stone hit the Rope Tree, a layer of water appeared behind him, blocking all the stones that were shot from all sides. Akira Uchiha passed the Rope Tree like lightning, and split the ninja fighting him in half. I'll deal with him, Akira Uchiha said to the Rope Tree. Well, I can't be careless. Thank you. Rope Tree didn't notice Akira Uchiha's abnormality at all. His eyes were only moved. He was touched that the other side could take care of his safety on this battlefield. After Rope Tree left, Akira Uchiha frowned and looked around. We must hurry up and kill him. If this goes on, we will fall into a disadvantage. Such an intense battle seems to be not good for Konoha's genin. Chapter 164. Akira Uchiha, who had made up his mind to finish off his opponent quickly, moved in an instant. Under the stimulation of lightning release, he rushed to the front of the Sunagekya captain at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, the kunai in his hand fiercely slashed at his opponent. Sakura Shinobu village captain, who could have easily dodged this attack, was suddenly in a trance. He was also shocked. From the beginning of the battle, he had been guarding against the opponent's Sharingan, but he didn't expect that he still fell into the illusion. By the time he broke the illusion, Akira Uchiha's kunai had already cut his neck. He hurriedly blocked in front of his body with his kunai. Sparks flew everywhere, and in an instant, his whole body was suppressed. Akira Uchiha used the collision of the kunai as a fulcrum, turned 360 degrees in the air, and swept his foot at Sakura Shinobu village captain. Sakura Shinobu village captain quickly retreated, dodging Akira Uchiha's attack. But the fierce foot hit the ground, and a huge pit of 1/2 meter deep suddenly appeared. And with this as the center, cracks began to spread around. If I'm hit by this kick, I'm afraid I'll be half crippled even if I don't die. Sakura Shinobu village captain's face unconsciously dripped cold sweat. Sakura Shinobu village captain was no stranger to this scene. After all, he had seen countless ninjas from the same village being trampled into meat buns by Tsunade's soul-chasing kick. Thinking of this, Sakura Shinobu village captain took 2 steps back again, distancing himself from Akira Uchiha. After all, the opponent's taijutsu has surpassed his. It wasn't obvious just now, but as the battle went on, Akira Uchiha village captain had basically figured out his attack method. Seeing his opponent retreating, Akira Uchiha village captain was like a dogskin plaster, and once again approached him. Sakura Shinobu village captain had to quickly make hand seals with both hands. Earth Release, Foam Stone Technique. On the empty ground, fist-sized rocks suddenly appeared. Those stones were like cannonballs, shooting straight towards Akira Uchiha. Extraordinary Strength Fist. Uchiha-chan waved his fist and smashed the stones flying towards him, shattering them one after another. Akira Uchiha broke through the ninjutsu and rushed in front of Captain Sakura Shinobu. The illusion instantly entangled the other party, and the shimmering kunai directly cut through the other party's waist. However, Captain Sakura Shinobu, who had been cut in half by Akira Uchiha, turned into mud and fell to the ground. Earth clone? Akira Uchiha stopped and searched for the other party's location. Before he could find it, 2 whirling winds bypassed the falling rocks and slashed at him from behind. Akira Uchiha raised his kunai and prepared to block the wind blade with the kunai in his hand. However, the wind blade was compressed to the extreme, so how could it be bounced off by the kunai? After a slight resistance, the kunai was cut open. However, because of this, the wind blade that was originally aimed at Akira Uchiha's chest was abruptly changed direction. At the same time, Akira Uchiha jumped, and his body brushed past the other wind blade. However, the 2 wind blades only turned a circle and flew towards Akira Uchiha again. At the same time, 2 more wind blades flew from the dark. A total of 4 wind blades shot towards Akira Uchiha. Obviously, Captain Sakura Shinobu knew that his taijutsu was no match for Akira Uchiha, so he hid in the dark and controlled the wind to protect himself as much as possible, while also doing his best to attack others. In front of White, you have nowhere to hide. Akira Uchiha shook his head, then stepped out, and suddenly rushed forward. The 4 wind blades followed closely behind, sharply rotating, leaving 4 cuts on the ground, and once again shot towards Akira Uchiha. Just as the wind blades were about to catch up with him, Akira Uchiha suddenly turned around, jumped down, and directly rushed towards the wind blades. Akira Uchiha, whose Sharingan had observed the trajectory of the wind blades in advance, held his head with one hand, and then in a very special posture, spun and passed through the middle of the 4 wind blades. As he fell, a ball of lightning formed in his left hand, and the blood-red Sharingan Magatama spun faster and faster. Then in the process of falling, he stepped on the falling stones and changed direction again. Chidori! Boom! Accompanied by Akira Uchiha's loud shout, the boulder to his right shattered under Chidori's attack. Captain Sakura Shinobu, who was hiding in it, was also shocked. The moment the boulder shattered, he swung his kunai at Akira Uchiha. At the same time, 4 wind blades attacked Akira Uchiha from behind. Chidori Ryu! In an instant, Akira Uchiha's whole body was covered with blue chakra electricity. The wind blades were all bounced back in an instant. Immediately, the strong electric current followed the kunai and paralyzed Sakura Shinobu's body. Then, the Chidori Ryu instantly dissipated and gathered in Akira Uchiha's right hand. At the same time, his right hand suddenly stretched out a 5-meter-long white light, and then he quickly raised his arm. As he waved his arm, the white light slashed at Sakura Shinobu, who was paralyzed in mid-air. Chidori's Sharp Spear. This move was a variation of Chidori's Sharp Spear. At the cost of weakening the attack power, the attack range extended to 5 meters. However, the weakening was only compared to Chidori's full power. If Chidori's Sharp Spear cut the body, with the power of this technique, there was no doubt that the body would be cut in half. However, a Jounin was a Jounin after all. Even in a paralyzed state, he could still forcibly twist his body. Akira Uchiha's fatal blow only cut off half of his arm. Sakura Shinobu, who had his arm cut off, was also out of the range of Raitun. Akira Uchiha could no longer inject Raitun into him. Sakura Shinobu, who had escaped, although his body was still numb, he had recovered his mobility. He realized that he could no longer fight after losing an arm, so after landing, he quickly ran away. "You think you can run away?" Akira Uchiha sneered. A black kunai appeared in his hand, and then it roared and shot directly at his opponent's head like a cannonball. After shooting a huge hole, the kunai's speed did not decrease, and it finally stopped after stabbing several Sakura Shinobu. Chapter 165. Senior Brother, Captain was killed. Senior Brother, Captain was killed. The death of Captain Sakura Shinobu caused some commotion among the enemies who attacked the supplies. However, it soon sank like a stone into the sea. On the battlefield, anyone can die, and everyone can only turn their anger into strength. Of course, it's more likely to turn their anger into running away. After all, even the captain is dead, what else do you want? And Akira Uchiha, the initiator, didn't pay attention to all this at this time. He has rushed to the enemy's flank. At this time, no one can stop him from killing. Akira Uchiha ran, and then his right hand hooked in the ninja bag beside his leg, and several shurikens were held in his hand. He didn't even stop running, and he didn't use any strength in his hand, and the cutting power under the speed bonus instantly and accurately cut the necks of several unlucky enemy ninjas. And the woodleaf ninjas who were fighting with him didn't even notice, and they saw the enemy softly fall down. Did I awaken a super strong Kekkei Genkai? A genin looked at his hand in shock. It seems that there are a lot of talents in the ninja world. Not only were there preachers, rappers, transvestites, and now there was an abstract ideologue. Akira Uchiha didn't pay attention to the other side. In this kind of chaotic battle, you must not stay in the same place, you must keep moving. In his previous life, Akira Uchiha also fought in a group fight, and he understood this principle. So after he killed his opponent, he didn't even stop, and rushed straight to the other enemies. This is a very strong Sakura Shinobu. From the first impression, he is a ninja who is good at strength. The other side didn't pay attention to Akira Uchiha's performance at all. After noticing that the Chunin kid was rushing towards him, he showed a cruel smile. Then the long sword in his hand fiercely slashed at Akira Uchiha. Akira Uchiha slightly changed his direction to avoid the enemy's long sword, and then raised his right hand to block the enemy's attack. Clang! The enemy's long sword suddenly stagnated. Taking advantage of this time, Akira Uchiha slightly curled his left hand's middle finger, and then quickly flicked the back of the long sword. Sakura Shinobu's face was full of horror, because he couldn't hold the long sword. Akira Uchiha held the back of the long sword with his left hand, and then the long sword was easily taken away by him. Sakura Shinobu, seeing this situation, he turned around and retreated. But a ninja with this kind of strength, ninja who is good at strength. After all, in the entire ninja world, how many people can be as strong and fast as Raikage? Obviously, this Sand ninja wasn't an all-rounder, he was just an average ninja, and speed was indeed his weakness. When fighting against Uchiha Uchiha, speed became Uchiha's domain. As Akira Uchiha raised his arm, the long sword in his hand fiercely slashed at Sakura Shinobu's chest. Blood flowed freely from the man's chest and mouth. Akira Uchiha pulled out the long sword, and formed a Chidori in his right hand. Immediately, Akira Uchiha's genjutsu attacked, and without any effort, the genjutsu penetrated Sakura Shinobu's chest. Then, he used his arm to push against the enemy's corpse and quickly rushed forward a distance of about 10 meters. His body shrank behind the enemy's body, and the shurikens and kunai flying on the battlefield didn't cause any damage to him. Relying on the dynamic vision of the Sharingan, Akira Uchiha quickly chose the second target. The lightning escape gave him the ability to dash forward, and the second enemy was pierced through by the 1,000 birds before they could react. Akira Uchiha was like a bulldozer, penetrating 3 ninjas in a row on the battlefield. After his companions were attacked one after another, the 4th enemy finally reacted. The long sword in his hand didn't care about his companions, and directly penetrated their bodies and stabbed Akira Uchiha behind them. Akira Uchiha quickly squatted down, and at the same time, the long sword in his hand also penetrated the corpse. The 2 long swords collided with each other in the corpse, making a muffled sound. Chidori's sharp spear. The lightning release shot along the 2 long swords directly to Sakura Shinobu. The enemy made a muffled groan. Puff, puff, puff. At this time, 3 soft sounds were suddenly heard. 3 kunai hit the 3 corpses that Akira Uchiha used as shields. This time, Akira Uchiha didn't turn a blind eye to the kunai's attack, but immediately withdrew his hand and then moved away. After all, the smell of gunpowder and the flash of smoke was no joke. Sure enough, on the rings behind these kunai, there was an explosive talisman tied to a thin string. If he was hit by this thing, even if he didn't die, he would be seriously injured. It seems that Sakura Shinobu didn't care about the corpses of his companions, just to kill him. This is a war between ninjas. Boom! After a loud noise, a rain of blood sprinkled around Akira Uchiha, sticking to his clothes, but he didn't care. Akira Uchiha's body was thrown away by the explosion, and when he drew a small arc in the air, 3 Sakura Shinobu rushed at him at the same time. Wind Release. True Void Jade. Akira Uchiha spat out several high-pressure wind balls to attack the enemy, and at the same time, because of the wind release, his body quickly floated farther away, avoiding the enemy's ninjutsu. The 3 Sakura Shinobu who tried to attack him just jumped up and were directly hit by the True Void Jade in the air. Akira Uchiha, who defeated the enemy, pulled out several shurikens from his arms and legs. Although the explosive tag didn't cause any substantial damage to him, it sent him flying in the air, and when in the air, shurikens are very difficult to dodge. Akira Uchiha looked around. At this time, some of the troublesome ninjas have been dealt with by him. So he was ready to leave here. After all, Watergate and the others weren't inexperienced rookies. Whether in terms of cooperation or ninjutsu, they were much better than other ninjas of the same level. Those troublesome ninjas were dealt with, and the rest were enough to hone them. At this time, at the back of the army, Shigeru was protecting Woodleaf's wounded, and at the same time, he was entangled with several elite ninjas. I'm going over there to support Shigeru-sama. Akira Uchiha shouted and quickly left. Chapter 166. With Akira Uchiha's speed, the distance of 100 meters was covered in a blink of an eye. In fact, from the first time he came here, Tsukumo, who didn't relax his grasp of the battle situation, had already noticed him. Since he could come here, it means that the Sand Jonin who was responsible for the transportation of supplies has been dealt with. Although Shigeru was mentally prepared in advance, he was still surprised. After all, when he was at Akira Uchiha's age, he couldn't do such a thing. He thought that he was already a genius, but now there was an even more monstrous character. And when Shigeru came back, he also heard that Akira Uchiha defeated Shikaku. Did this kid start training when he was still a fertilized egg? Shigeru couldn't help but think. However, Akira Uchiha coming to support them is always a good thing. After all, many of the wounded here have lost their ability to fight and are in urgent need of protection. Shigeru, who valued his companions very much, also had a good impression of Akira Uchiha. So Shigeru directly said, "Leave the main battle to me. You are responsible for the release of genjutsu and the safety of the wounded." Okay. Akira Uchiha nodded. Shigeru's strength is much higher than his. Even if he doesn't come, Shigeru has the ability to quickly deal with the several jonins in front of him and then support the other battles. Now that the other side asked him to hide in the back and play support, Akira Uchiha was very happy. Support is a profession with a lot of potential. Every time there is a group battle, he can hide in the back and secretly control the situation. Not only is there no danger to his life, but he can also experience the pleasure of being an old fox. After giving the order, Hatsuki Shigeru rushed towards the enemy like the wind. Seeing White Fang rushing out, the sand ninjas who were standing on the outside once again felt a chill down their spine, and the other elite ninjas quickly started to form hand seals. Akira Uchiha reacted quickly and cast a genjutsu, interrupting one of the ninjas who was forming hand seals the fastest. Shigeru was once again engaged in battle with the 2 elite jonins. The chakra on his white-toothed dagger was overflowing in the air like a white shimmer. Another genjutsu was thrown out, and using sound as a medium, it quickly drilled into the brain of the jonin closest to Shigeru. Just as he was about to raise his hand to attack Hatsuki Shigeru, he discovered something strange. He couldn't move his body. Was he hit by the golden binding illusion? He wasn't the first to recognize Akira Uchiha's genjutsu as golden binding illusion, but it didn't make any difference. Because in the next moment, Hatsuki Shigeru waved his white-toothed dagger and sent his head flying high into the sky. At the same time, Hatsuki Shigeru also lowered his body and accelerated his speed towards another jonin not far away. Seeing his teammate get killed without any reaction, he was also shocked. Although he didn't want to give up, he began to feel afraid. When he was about to use a ninjutsu to delay Hatsuki Shigeru's attack, he found that his hands stopped and the hand seals were also interrupted. It was always shockingly similar. Another huge head soared into the sky. A jonin wanted to kill Akira Uchiha. But when he looked at Shen, his eyes met with the blood-red Tomo, and his body began to tremble. A cold feeling filled Sakura Shinobu's body and mind. Puchi. Just as he was immersed in the genjutsu, Shigeru's kunai pierced his chest, and blood immediately gushed out. After killing him, Shigeru's arm smashed Sakura Shinobu's chest and sent him flying. The remaining Sakura Shinobu were shocked. Although they were suppressed by White Fang just now, both sides couldn't do anything to each other for the time being. But now that Chunin came, the situation was reversed. Shigeru was like a god of death, killing a jonin in an instant. This is too terrifying. And the one who caused all of this was Chunin. And the one who killed their Shikaku was also Woodleaf's Chunin. Since when did Woodleaf's Chunin grow to the point where everyone's face would change? This is too shinobi. So those elite jonins stopped and began to consider the problem of running away. After all, in front of this combination, they could only wait for death. Reinforcements, be careful. Akira Uchiha's dynamic vision can capture the surrounding situation faster than White Tooth, so when several Sakura Shinobu rushed to the edge of the battle, Akira Uchiha loudly reminded Shigeru to be careful of the situation over there. It seems that the enemy is afraid. Of course, killing people so efficiently, anyone who sees it will be afraid. After all, these are real jonins, not high-level cannon fodder, the highest combat power of a village. Even Sandaime-sama, who is known as the strongest Kozakage, can't do it so cleanly, like an eagle catching a chicken, instantly killing so many jonins. But now, this kind of impossible thing happened. It's like in a team battle, Akira Uchiha can use genjutsu every second, while Shigeru is the assassin with high speed and high damage. If Flying Ape Nichiren was here, he would definitely sigh, this kind of feeling. It's like a different version of the Flying Thunder God / reappeared in the ninja world. So now Sakura Shinobu is very afraid. This caused the number of jonins around them to increase, but in fact, most of them were still restrained by Orochi and Tsunade. Shigeru, who was at full speed, was already in the mood to kill. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in the middle of another Sand Jonin who was under the control of Genjutsu and used lightning release to take away his life in an instant. At the same time, he continued to rush towards the newly arrived Sand Shinobis. His White Fang with lightning release directly cut off one of the Sakura Shinobu's arms, and at the same time, hit the Genjutsu puppeteer, and then changed the angle of his attack and cut it horizontally. Half of the Sakura Shinobu's head was directly cut off by Shigeru, so he didn't even have time to scream and died directly. In a few minutes, even if the Sakura Shinobu was prepared, he still couldn't resist the combination of Akira Uchiha and Hatsuki Shigeru. The combination of Wood Leaf and Raiga finally showed their fangs in front of the world for the first time. This made Chiyo, who was commanding Sakura Shinobu, gloomy. She stared at the figure crazily hunting Sakura Shinobu, and her eyes were about to spit fire. But Shigeru didn't care at all. If eyes could kill, he would have already used it. He was now immersed in this feeling and couldn't extricate himself. He was comfortable at any angle, and he didn't have to worry about the various ninjutsu of the enemy. This has never happened before. This kind of posture, this kind of pleasure, sweet and elegant, it was like finding his first love. That's right, Shigeru has fallen in love with the feeling of killing jonin like killing vegetables. Chapter 167. Such a sneak attack that both sides were prepared for was bound to result in a lose-lose situation. A total of more than 300 Sand Shinobis were defeated by Woodleaf Shinobis within an hour. It seems that Woodleaf Shinobis won a great victory, but behind this glorious victory, countless lives and blood and tears were lost. Orochimaru and Tsunade were also talking at the front of the team. How is the loss of Woodleaf Shinobis? Tsunade was sorting out the things in her hands and turned to Orochimaru, who was in charge of counting the casualties. We lost a total of 25 jonins, including the elite jonins, and about 150 chunin and genin. Tsunade shook her head after listening. Every time she saw the death of her subordinates, she felt very sad. Sometimes, she really wanted to run to the entrance of the sand village and scold the 3 generations of Kozakage. But this crazy idea just flashed in her mind and she gave up. After all, if she was detained by others, then she would lose a lot of face. Don't shake your head. Orochimaru looked at Tsunade, who was shaking her head. If we want to win, we have to take such risks. Death is also something that can't be avoided. In my opinion, this battle is very cost-effective for us. If we experience a few more sneak attacks like this, then the Sand Village won't have the strength to continue fighting. At this time, Orochimaru was completely immersed in his identity as a strategist. Regardless of whether Tsunade was annoyed or not, he began to analyze the benefits of this battle. Tsunade certainly understood these things. After all, her ancestors were also rich. Although some families are now in decline, they have received a lot of basic education. At least it's not comparable to a country bumpkin like Orochimaru. But Tsunade was still full of disgust for war and death. And she didn't like to use this kind of value to measure victory. So when Orochimaru started to preach again, "Sorry, please shut up." So Tsunade stopped him very impolitely. Orochimaru was a little excited. She knew that what Orochimaru just said was right, but it didn't mean anything to her. Orochimaru shut up a little bitterly. He wanted to express his opinion, but no one would listen to him. He felt aggrieved. Everyone wants to show off in their field of expertise, but now he was ruthlessly interrupted by Tsunade, to be honest, a little hurt. Speaking of which, why didn't he feel this way before? By the way, that's because the idiot Jiraiya was also there at that time. There were many things that Jiraiya didn't understand. Therefore, every time Orochimaru could personally explain it, and at the same time, despise the other party, thus satisfying his vanity. Now, Jiraiya wasn't here, but Tsunade despised him for being talkative. So Orochimaru was a little lonely now, and he even unconsciously missed Jiraiya. I wonder if he's doing well in the land of rain? Is he as empty, lonely, and cold as Orochimaru? Tsunade also knew that it wasn't good to interrupt Orochimaru like this, so she continued to give him a chance to speak. This way, on the one hand, she could comfort Orochimaru's shattered self-esteem. On the other hand, she could also shut Orochimaru's mouth in her field of expertise. There are still more than 10 medical ninjas. The treatment process can be completed in half an hour. Orochimaru curled his lips. But there are only so many people. Tsunade hesitated. If I suggest to the Sandaime-sama that he train more medical ninjas, it would be best if each team could have one. Do you think he'll agree to it? Why do you have such an idea? Orochimaru was surprised. Unless there's something wrong with his brain, he won't agree. What do you mean? Tsunade was stunned and looked at Orochimaru with an extremely dangerous look. Now is the time of war, whether it's medical ninjas or ninjas, there are not enough. There's no time for you to train them, let alone one per team. Orochimaru shook his head. I know it's difficult, but the return rate of doing so is also very high. After all, it can improve the survival rate of a team. You know, according to the statistics of our medical department, many ninjas died because they were injured and didn't get treatment in time. Tsunade analyzed. Now, if there is a medical ninja in a team who can save teammates in time, the team's endurance and survivability will be greatly improved. For example, our team, how many times did you and Jiraiya survive without me? It can be said that if you two put me on a pedestal, I can do it. So a medical ninja in a team is very important. The more Tsunade thought about it, the more she felt that her proposal was good. Orochimaru was sweating when he heard it. How can it be the same? Tsunade is a tough woman. In terms of physical strength, she is the most powerful of the three. Can ordinary medical ninjas compare with her? And Orochimaru's idea can't be changed for a while. After all, medical ninjas are so precious. How can they be put on the battlefield? For these two plans, Orochimaru couldn't say for a while which one was better. In the traditional plan, the team is full of ninjas with combat ability, but as Tsunade said, there is a lack of medical ninjas. After a battle, who won't be injured? Without timely treatment, they will die quickly. Tsunade's proposal is to replace one of the ninjas with a medical ninja. But this configuration also means that there will be an extra burden in the team. The medical ninja will definitely be the priority target of the enemy. At the same time, it will weaken their own combat ability. However, when Orochimaru saw Tsunade's fist almost poking his face, he held back and didn't continue to provoke her. Your proposal is okay. Orochimaru replied ambiguously. Is that so? Tsunade didn't understand Orochimaru's meaning. Then why don't you go back to Woodleaf and mention it at the Jounin meeting, to test the water first? Why me? Orochimaru squeezed out this sentence after a long time. If everyone opposes it, then where will I put my face? Tsunade said matter-of-factly. You want face but I don't? Tsunade shut her mouth a little bitterly. It wasn't easy for her to come up with a system. Although she thought of it when she was squatting, it was still a big proposal. Orochimaru actually didn't agree with her. To be honest, she was a little hurt. Speaking of which, why didn't this happen before? Right, that's because Jiraiya, that idiot, was also there at that time. Although Jiraiya wasn't very reliable, as long as Tsunade needed something, he would immediately do it without hesitation. Now, Jiraiya wasn't there. Orochimaru didn't test the water for her. Therefore, Tsunade was a little bored now, and even unconsciously missed Jiraiya. She didn't know if he was as lazy and bored as she was in the Land of Rain. Although Orochimaru wasn't willing to help her, Tsunade had other candidates. It wasn't easy to find a three-legged toad, but it wasn't hard to find a three-legged Jounin. She now had a package of plans in her mind, and the proposed reform of the medical system was just one of them. For example, she could ask the village to take out some money and let Tsunade go to the Wind Country's casino to win money, impose sanctions on the Wind Country's economy, and win this war. At the thought of this, Tsunade smiled proudly. Chapter 168. At this time, Akira Uchiha, who was at the back of the team, suddenly shivered. He felt like he was being watched by someone. He carefully recalled that other than offending the Ichibi and the Yonbi, he didn't seem to have offended anyone else. He couldn't figure it out no matter how much he thought about it. At this moment, a ninja eagle was hovering in the sky, and it was constantly chirping. Team rest for an hour? This was the order from the ninja eagle. In this case, Akira Uchiha was not in a hurry to check the damage. He waved his hand and asked Mikoto, who was approaching, to sit down and rest. After Mikoto came over, she took out a handkerchief and began to wipe the black marks on his face. Chen, do you want to go find a medical ninja to treat your injuries? Shigeru glanced at Akira Uchiha and knew that this guy was definitely injured. Not to mention other things, his breathing was slightly faster than usual. If it was a ninja, such a situation wouldn't happen unless the ninja's organs were displaced. It seemed that the battle just now had caused a lot of damage to Akira Uchiha. Shigeru now had a good impression of this kid. He had never met a ninja who cooperated with him so well, so he was very concerned about his injuries. I'll pass. The medical ninja is really busy. I'll go when there are fewer people. Akira Uchiha shook his head. Then I'll have to trouble you, Shigeru-sama. Mikoto stood up, bowed to Shigeru, and pulled Akira Uchiha to the medical ninja's place. Tsk tisk. Looking at the two in a hurry, Shigeru looked at them with interest for a while. He admired this kid's skills in picking up girls. Are really good. Should I also find a girlfriend? Shigeru suddenly had such a thought in his mind. It would be best if I could have a daughter. Shigeru's thoughts wandered further and further, and he began to consider his daughter's boyfriend. Akira Uchiha was led by Mikoto towards the medical ninja. He still didn't know that under his influence, Kakashi was likely to become Kakashi in the future. However, the thought of a white-haired female ninja who wore a black mask all day long and revealed dead fish eyes really made people excited. At this time, Mikoto pulled Akira Uchiha forward. I heard from a friend that her captain was injured. However, that team leader had neglected the issue of healing, leaving behind a hidden danger. Later, in the next battle, his injuries flared up and he accidentally died. I'm telling you to take care of your body. Mikoto stared at Akira Uchiha. All right. Akira Uchiha raised his hands in surrender. Woodleaf's medical ninjas were gathered near an open space at this time, and the personnel in charge of logistics had already set up a tent to treat the wounded. As Akira Uchiha said, there are a lot of ninjas who need treatment now. After all, he wasn't seriously injured, so he could only line up honestly. He didn't dare to bother the medical master, violent jutsu student for such a small matter. As a result, when he and Mikoto were in line, they saw Watergate and Rope Tree coming out of the tent. Both of them looked miserable. Watergate's hand bones were wrapped in dense bandages because he didn't use enough force when using ninjutsu. Rope Tree's wound was healed by Woodleaf's medical ninja. In order to prevent the wound from bursting open again, the medical ninja also mixed a lot of thin bandages on his body. Are you okay? Akira Uchiha asked. It's just a flesh wound, at least the internal organs and bones are not damaged. Watergate smiled, and then because of the pain of pulling the wound, he grimaced. Shen, Watergate and I killed a Sand Village's Jonin. Rope Tree also grimaced in pain and showed off. I just heard from Mikoto. Akira Uchiha said helplessly. Don't talk about it, I feel pain for your wound. An hour later, Konoha's shinobi team continued to move forward. Akira Uchiha and Shigeru's position still didn't change. Shigeru was still at the end of the team, and Shan was still at the rear of the team next to the food transport truck. Hey, Ninja Bro, the uncle who was driving the carriage greeted Akira Uchiha. Do you want to let a few injured members get on the carriage to rest? Consider it as a gift for helping me push the carriage. That's good, thank you uncle. Akira Uchiha nodded, and then said to Watergate and the others. You guys go and rest. But the guard work. Rope Tree hesitated. I'll take care of the guard work. You guys rest in the carriage. Okay. Rope Tree nodded and did not continue to say anything. He turned over and boarded the transport vehicle that had been vacated. Watergate, you go. I'll pass. Watergate smiled and shook his head. I found that when walking on this kind of rocky road, I can also practice my chakra control with my feet. For example, when using chakra, I can control the vibration from the soles of my feet to the extent that I can walk with ease. The fine control of chakra is very high. It makes sense. Akira Uchiha glanced at him. But do you usually use your feet to release ninjutsu? Ahahaha. You don't know this, but Jiraiya, Sensei did teach me how to release ninjutsu with my feet. Watergate smiled proudly. Akira Uchiha patted Watergate's shoulder. Okay, but be careful, this kind of fine control consumes a lot of chakra. If chakra is gone, I won't carry you on the carriage. Ahahaha, don't be like this, we've been friends for many years. Watergate laughed. A few days of peace passed quickly. Without Sakura Shinobu causing trouble, Woodleaf's team didn't speed up. The main reason is that there are a lot of ordinary people in the team. Even if it's just a normal walk, ordinary people can't last for a few days and nights, so basically every 2 days, the team will stop to rest. However, Akira Uchiha has some doubts. Woodleaf support team hasn't appeared yet. These people won't get lost, right? Just when Akira Uchiha was puzzled, an Umbu ninja appeared in front of him. Akira Uchiha, Orochimaru Sama is looking for you. Time. Akira Uchiha nodded and then asked. The advantage of communicating with Umbu ninjas is that there is no need for small talk and nonsense. If you have something to say, they won't pay attention to you. Immediately, the Umbu ninja spat out these 2 words. Understood. Chapter 169. Chen, have you recovered from your injuries? When Akira Uchiha just arrived here, Orochimaru asked him such a question. I have fully recovered. Akira Uchiha hesitated and said. Whenever Orochimaru asks about his physical condition, it can't be just because he cares about his body. In fact, the meaning of this sentence is, can you start the mission again? After being cheated several times before, Akira Uchiha also understood Orochimaru's routine. It seems that this guy wants to use the unspoken rules again. So Akira Uchiha is also very hesitant. His injury is not serious, and he has completely recovered. Moreover, Tsunade is watching him like a tiger watching its prey. He can't lie even if he wants to. When Orochimaru heard Akira Uchiha's reply, he looked very satisfied. He nodded and said, "That's good, now I have a new mission for you." "Mission? Sensei, are you joking?" At this moment, Akira Uchiha looked at Orochimaru in front of him with a very shocked expression. "I'm just teasing you." Unfortunately, Orochimaru can't say such a thing. He is not in the mood to tease his beloved disciple. Akira Uchiha sighed. He really can't understand what mission he has to do now. He is already so close to Woodleaf. Does he have to go back to the Land of Rain to find Jiraiya? Akira Uchiha felt a little sad. However, for the mission given by the commander, the general ninja has no room to refuse. If it is peacetime, the ninja may have some room to choose, but during wartime, the commander's orders are absolute and unquestionable. For example, if Orochimaru ordered Akira Uchiha to sneak into the Sand Village to assassinate the 3 generations of Kazekage, even if he knows that the success rate of the mission is 0, he will still go. If Akira Uchiha doesn't want to leave Woodleaf behind, so there is no possibility of refusing this matter. Akira Uchiha was a little depressed. "Sensei, what is our mission?" He immediately asked this question. "Our war with Sakura Shinobu may last for a long time. But according to my previous investigation, the Sand-Hidden Village has a large amount of materials of unknown origin." Orochimaru took out a document. There is evidence that these materials were sold by the Fire Country. Now there are 2 situations. The first is that the Fire Country's Chamber of Commerce secretly contacted the Wind Country's ninjas and secretly sold their food to them at a high price. The second is that they sold it with the support of the daimyo. Orochimaru handed the package to Akira Uchiha. "I need you to investigate this matter." The whole tent was quiet for a while. Orochimaru waited for Akira Uchiha to digest the whole thing. People who hear about this for the first time will be very shocked, and Akira Uchiha is no exception. Therefore, this is also the reason why Orochimaru delayed the investigation for so long. "This kind of thing, shouldn't you let Naruto negotiate with the daimyo?" Akira Uchiha squeezed out this sentence for a long time. Orochimaru pondered for a moment and continued, "I've thought about it before. But you don't know the personality of Sandaime Naruto. For this matter, Sandaime Naruto has nothing to do with the Fire Country's daimyo. And this kind of scandal, the daimyo will never admit it. At most, he will promise to give Woodleaf more materials to support our war. But in this way, while the war is indefinitely delayed, we should consider the death and damage of Woodleaf's ninjas." Akira Uchiha nodded. Orochimaru's words are indeed very reasonable. Flying Ape Nichiren's indecisive character is there. By the time he finishes the investigation, the Third War may have already begun. So this will only delay the whole war. Speaking of which, the current Orochimaru is really a good young man who loves Woodleaf. He knew that Sandaime Sama's negotiation with the daimyo was just a superficial job. Without conclusive evidence, Sandaime Sama had no way to pressure the daimyo. In the end, the best result was that Sandaime Sama got some materials to appease the daimyo. Sandaime Naruto can't do it, but it doesn't mean that ninjas can't. There are some things that Naruto can't do, but ninjas can. So Orochimaru decided to take the initiative to solve this problem for Woodleaf. "What's the level of the task?" Akira Uchiha no longer hesitated and decided to complete this task seriously. "B. You haven't been to the daimyo, so be careful. But considering that the daimyo's Chamber of Commerce may have ninjas as enemies, for the time being, it's a B-level task. If there is an unexpected situation, it should be that the Sand Village sent a relatively high-level ninja there to protect their employer." Orochimaru spoke out his guess. Akira Uchiha nodded. "What about the time of the task?" "According to the usual B-level task time, it will be 15 days. If there is any unexpected situation, use white or other methods to inform me. In terms of the task, I will give you a confidential task, except for me and Tsunade, no one will see it." Orochimaru said in a hoarse voice. "Okay, then I will go first, Orochimaru, sensei." Akira Uchiha nodded and prepared to gather his friends. It was a B-rank mission after all. It was difficult to say that it was because of its uncertainties. Not to mention the daimyo behind the scenes, the Chamber of Commerce may also ask Sakura Shinobu's ninja to protect them under the premise of a transaction. In this way, the difficulty of this task may rise, and it is not impossible to raise it to A level. If there is a jonin involved in a task, as long as the other party's strength is not too bad, the task is basically A level. As the mainstay of a ninja village, jonin has such a deterrent unconditionally. But it doesn't matter, Akira Uchiha just wants to finish it quickly and return to Woodleaf. After all, half an hour ago, he was still missing the life in Woodleaf, but now he received a task from Orochimaru. This made him deeply feel the malice from this plane. Chapter 170. Land of Fire. Daming House. Generally speaking, this place is the safest place in the entire world of Naruto. Whether it's peacetime or wartime, its safety factor is far higher than several villages in the 5 major countries. So in a sense, if you transmigrated here and wanted to live a safe life, then congratulations, the Great Name Mansion welcomes you. In fact, it's true. Woodleaf is the leader of the 5 major villages. With such a strong strength, he was defeated 3 times. Kyuubi Rebellion, Orochimaru's collapse plan, Pain's invasion, there will always be one that you can't escape. Not to mention the Sand Village, the environment is too bad to live in. The 4th generation of Kazekage likes to test his son's tolerance, so Shikaku often goes berserk. In addition, Dini also came to do air raids. The danger index here is 4 stars. If you live in the Lightning Hidden Village, then congratulations. You can often watch for free there, a 2-meter-tall strong man and a big octopus fight. It's terrible to think about. As for the Mist Village, it's the village of Blood Mist. If you live there, you will become a monster sooner or later. The Mist Village can be said to be the most dangerous place in the 5 major countries. The Rock Village is not so dangerous, but the environment there is also terrible, like a corner of the mountain. No transmigrator can stand that kind of place. So in general, if you want to live comfortably and safely, Daming House is really your first choice. However, Daming House is safe, but it's also the place where the master of the Land of Fire, Daming House, lives. There are various nobles here, and the feudal system is also practiced. If you are not careful, you may be caught by these celestial dragons as a slave. Due to the complexity of this place, Orochimaru wanted to deal with this matter personally, but later gave up. The reason is very simple, because Orochimaru's identity is special. It's not suitable for him to appear here, including Tsunade and Hatsuki Shigeru. They are not suitable. To some extent, their every move can represent Woodleaf's meaning. Therefore, the task of stirring up trouble was left to a nobody like Akira Uchiha, who had the strength to do it. Although the name Woodleaf Rakeage is famous enough in the shinobi world, most people don't know what Woodleaf Rakeage is. At this time, in a certain dense forest, there was a very thick tree. From the outside, this tree looked no different from its surroundings except for the fact that it had lived for a very long time. But in reality, the tree was hollow. This was a very secretive stronghold. At this moment, 3 Woodleaf ninjas were staying inside. It was now the 3rd day since Akira Uchiha and his companions had arrived at the Daming Prefecture city. After he got the confidential mission letter from Orochimaru, he took Watergate, Mikoto, and Rope Tree to separate from Woodleaf's team and went to the capital of the Land of Fire. Because Rope Tree had been to the capital of the Land of Fire a long time ago, although he can't remember the specific route, he can still remember the general direction. In addition, Orochimaru also very considerately put a detailed map of the forest of the Land of Fire, in which the nearest route to the capital of the Land of Fire has been marked, for fear that Akira Uchiha would get lost in the arms of the Mother Forest. Therefore, the speed of these people was very fast. The mobility of a ninja is sometimes really scary. While the 3 of them were talking, the camouflage outside the tree hole was lifted, and the 4th ninja came in. It was Watergate. Another food truck is heading in the direction of the Land of Wind. Watergate came in from the tree hole, and then carefully re-camouflaged the entrance of the tree hole. After doing this, he said. As he spoke, he waved the gray hair in his hand, which he had caught on his way back. The gray rabbit is very fat. Maybe these people's next meal can be improved. The interior space of this tree hole is spacious, and the location is very hidden. After being discovered by these people, it became one of the active strongholds. Some of the supplies of Akira Uchiha's team, food, medicine, ninja tools, and so on, after completing a reconnaissance, they will return to such a place to rest. There are several such strongholds in their reconnaissance area. In order to prevent all the supplies after being exposed, these things are stored in batches. At this time, there is a fire in the tree hole, and the smoke is very light after special treatment, floating through the gaps of the tree hole into the forest. Unless someone is very close to here, it is impossible for them to be discovered. And if someone can really get close to that distance, with the peripheral security alarm arrangement of Akira Uchiha's team or Big White's perception ability, they can find the enemy. So they feel quite relaxed. After all, this is just a B-level mission. However, Akira Uchiha sighed slightly in his heart. Too naive, a B-level mission with rope tree. Will it be a simple B-level mission? But he didn't say this. After all, it would hurt rope tree's self-esteem too much. Check your equipment, turn off the fire, and then we will set off immediately. After Akira Uchiha emphasized various precautions again, the four people quickly destroyed the food in front of them, and then began to check their equipment and ninja tools. They have been investigating here for several days, and they have some understanding of the situation here, and now they can start to act. After a little disguise, Akira Uchiha took Watergate and left this stronghold and set off for Daimyo Prefecture. Even a rookie ninja can use ninjutsu like transformation jutsu. As long as the fabricated identity is not too strange, there is basically no possibility of being exposed. At this time, the capital of the Land of Fire still looks very prosperous. It seems that the war has not affected here. With Rope Tree's memory of visiting the capital of the Land of Fire, they finally found a good hotel. The mission that they have been preparing for several days is about to start. Chapter 171. Under the lead of Rope Tree, they found a decent hotel and stayed there. After all, several days of investigation made them a little tired. After Akira Uchiha told Watergate and the others to have a good rest, he sneaked out alone. Of course, he didn't sneak out because he wanted to go out alone. As the successor of Naruto, Akira Uchiha has always performed well in ideological education. But if it was Sannin who came to perform the mission, it would be hard to say. As the trio of prostitution, gambling, and drugs, the first thing Jiraiya did was probably to go straight to a red light district to inquire about information. If it was Tsunade, he would have already investigated several casinos by now. As for Orochimaru, he said that child trafficking was more attractive to him. Therefore, it is really difficult to find a captain like Uchiha-chan who has a serious and responsible attitude and is willing to search for information. However, Akira Uchiha said that he didn't want to do that. Although this mission was only B-level difficulty, because of the lack of information, it involved a wide range of people, so he could only investigate by himself. As for his three teammates, they may be very powerful in the future, but now, they were still weak. After going out, Akira Uchiha found that there were very few pedestrians at night. However, this was also inseparable from the ongoing war. So after waiting for a long time, he found a pedestrian in a hurry. After easily controlling the other party with illusion, Akira Uchiha easily asked the address of a large chamber of commerce in the capital from the other party. During the investigation, he had already determined the logo of a chamber of commerce, so other large chambers of commerce must know this chamber of commerce. This was Akira Uchiha's plan. After Akira Uchiha dispelled the illusion, the pedestrian continued to hurry forward as if nothing had happened. It was already very late, and he still had to rush home to sleep. In the current capital, an ordinary person like him might appear to be very wealthy to the people outside, but it was undeniable that in this city, he belonged to the class that was being ruled and exploited. After the man left, Akira Uchiha walked out from the dark corner. Since he knew the detailed address, he was confident that he could get more information from the person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce. Instead of jumping from roof to roof, Akira Uchiha followed the most basic stealth of a ninja. Basically, he walked in the dark alleys of the capital. The specific route was already told to him by the pedestrian when he was controlled by the genjutsu. Therefore, in a very short period of time, he had already approached this Chamber of Commerce. By the time they arrived at the Chamber of Commerce, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. At this time, when ordinary businesses were closed for the day, this Chamber of Commerce was still brightly lit. It was very simple to sneak in from the third floor with an open window. Because the lights were on, sneaking in such a wooden building lost its effect. Akira Uchiha opened the door directly from the inside. Anyway, under the effect of Big White's infrared perception, a large range of people's movements couldn't escape his perception. Soon, he completed a complete inspection of the third floor of the attic, but he didn't find the existence of a living person, not even a little bit of useful information. Are they all downstairs? With this thought, he quickly went down to the second floor. Sure enough, as he expected, in the deepest part of the second floor, there were sounds of people moving. And in the corridor, there were a lot of samurai and wandering ninjas as guards. After Akira Uchiha appeared, the guards gathered like a tide and quickly surrounded him. There were a lot of people, but they were all ordinary people with relatively strong bodies. There were also many ninjas mixed in, but their strength was not very good. These ninjas, they don't have the protection of a ninja village or a ninja clan. They basically accept tasks in the underground market with their own strength or accept employment from ordinary people to earn commissions to support themselves. Because they have not received orthodox ninja training and teaching, as ninja qualifications are not high, they can't come into contact with high-level ninjutsu. Their strength is generally either poor or extremely poor. Of course, for ordinary people, their strength can be said to be very powerful, even more powerful than most samurai. But in the face of a ninja from a regular village, it is completely not enough, not to mention the existence of Akira Uchiha's strength. Therefore, Akira Uchiha only used a genjutsu to easily put these people down. After putting all the people down, Akira Uchiha also swaggered to the door, then easily broke in, and directly used genjutsu to directly control the three presidents of the Chamber of Commerce sitting at the table. That's why Sharingan is really useful. Although Akira Uchiha said that he has 100 torture methods, but the efficiency will be much worse. And because of the Sharingan genjutsu, they are basically in a state of obedience to Akira Uchiha's orders. After getting the information he needed, Akira Uchiha suddenly felt a little tricky. Fortunately, he came to investigate in advance. If he directly carried out the task, he may suffer a lot. He didn't expect that this matter would involve the 12 Guardian Ninja. The 12 Guardian Ninja are the 12 elite ninjas responsible for protecting the daimyo of the Land of Fire. They are the private independent troops of the daimyo. This was already a very powerful force. He is not afraid of a few people, but if the 12 of them come together, Akira Uchiha will not be their opponent. Akira Uchiha was ready to leave, but he didn't mean to kill these 3 people. If he killed them all, it will be discovered tomorrow, which will have a great impact on the task. And when they wake up, they will forget what just happened. Akira Uchiha quickly left the Chamber of Commerce through the window. He went at full speed. It only took him a minute to return to the place where he lived. You're back. It's almost 12 o'clock now. Watergate, who hasn't slept yet, saw Akira Uchiha come back and said hello. Not only that, even Rope Tree didn't sleep. They were waiting for him to come back. Akira Uchiha, who jumped from the window, nodded and looked at them strangely. Didn't I tell you to have a good rest today? Why did you stay up so late? How can the captain go out to perform the task? The team members lie in the room sleeping. Rope Tree rolled his eyes. Hey, Rope Tree, what's with your eyes? How old am I, the person who went to the red light district? Akira Uchiha was speechless. I just went out to gather the necessary information. Akira Uchiha quickly explained. If Rope Tree, accidentally, said something in front of Mikoto tomorrow, Akira Uchiha wouldn't have an easy time. Did you find anything? Watergate quickly asked. I did find something. I will tell you the details of the task tomorrow. Akira Uchiha nodded. Then let's talk about it tomorrow. Hearing Akira Uchiha say this, Watergate also laid down on the bed. But Rope Tree was still sighing. It was obvious that he couldn't forget the big sister from Famous House. This made Akira Uchiha a little confused. Wasn't Rope Tree only 7 years old the last time he came? At that time, he was already so mature and steady in this aspect. Chapter 172. Early the next morning, Akira Uchiha woke up from his bed. However, even though he had woken up, he was still lying on the soft bed. After getting used to the life of a caveman for the past few months, Akira Uchiha said that he could continue to lie there like a corpse for another day. However, his behavior deeply provoked the little son Watergate. As someone who had seen the daimyo at 4 o'clock in the morning, Watergate felt very ashamed. He started to get up so early to train, but the gap between him and his friend was getting bigger and bigger. He just wanted to say that the world of geniuses was really not something that ordinary people like us could understand. However, Watergate could now see that this mission should not be too dangerous, otherwise, the other party would have already gotten up to investigate. After waking up, Akira Uchiha was still in bed, but he couldn't fall asleep. Speaking of which, he didn't seem to see the figure of the other person. Click, I'm back. Everyone was here. Rope Tree walked into the room excitedly. Rope Tree, where did you go? Akira Uchiha raised his head. I went to investigate. Rope Tree said shamelessly. Oh, then what's in your pocket? Akira Uchiha sat up and then signaled Watergate with his eyes. Watergate stood up with a smile and approached Rope Tree. Okay, you're not allowed to tell anyone. Rope Tree sneakily took out a few books from his pocket. This is the new work of the most virtuous and skilled jounin in the country of Japan, Kura-sensei. Only the daimyo sells it. Rope Tree proudly shook the little book. I went to line up at 4 o'clock. It seemed that Rope Tree's effort was comparable to Watergate's. After all, he was also a man who had seen the daimyo at 4 o'clock in the morning. Akira Uchiha said that he also wanted to improve his knowledge. Thus, he quickly took out a book and put it into his scroll. By the way, did you discover anything special? Something special. Well, when I came back, I noticed that the number of guards on the street had increased quite a bit, Rope Tree said after some thought. Yes. Akira Uchiha nodded. He could make sure that the people who were affected by the illusion last night would not have any memories. However, when they woke up, they found themselves lying on the ground. No matter how stupid these people were, they knew that something had happened in their own Chamber of Commerce. They would definitely report it to the authorities. But it didn't matter. The famous prefecture was so big, it would be too exaggerated to find the 4 of them. Let's have breakfast first. I'll go get Mikoto. Akira Uchiha went out after washing up. After a while, breakfast was served. Since they were in the capital of the Fire Nation, the style and delicacy of the breakfast was not inferior to that of Woodleaf. In fact, it was even better. This delicious breakfast made them, who had lived in the harsh environment of the Land of Rain for a long time, feel as if they had come to heaven. Let me talk about the current situation. Akira Uchiha said after taking a sip of the porridge. The Chamber of Commerce that we found before, the one that transported food to the Wind Nation, I have found its name and address. But because it was too late last night, I came back first, Akira Uchiha said to the others. Our next task is to go to that Chamber of Commerce and determine if it is the target we are looking for. What if it's them? Watergate raised his head and asked. The sand-hidden village will come to receive the supplies. If we catch or kill them, our task will be over, Akira Uchiha said lightly. However, there is one more thing to pay attention to. Akira Uchiha stood up. In the deal, it involves the 12 Guardian Ninjas. 12 Jonins. We're not their match. So, after killing Sakura Shinobu, we will leave immediately. Yes, Captain. As Rope Tree said, the number of guards on the street has increased a lot. But the strength of these people is not even comparable to ninjas. Akira Uchiha and the others walked towards the Chamber of Commerce. Last night, Akira Uchiha not only asked for the address and name of the Chamber of Commerce, but also got the internal structure of the Chamber of Commerce. As for why the presidents of other chambers of commerce know the internal structure of this Chamber of Commerce, this should not be a simple business competition. As he understood, this Chamber of Commerce cooperates with the Wind Nation and earns a lot of benefits. it is impossible for others not to be jealous. Even if you have a strong background, in the face of benefits, it is enough to make some people take risks. Not to mention the 12 guardian ninjas standing behind you, even if you are a daimyo, they will dare to make a move. Therefore, these businessmen can't be underestimated these days. Their schemes are not worse than ninjas. During the day, there will not be many guards in the Chamber of Commerce. After all, the Chamber of Commerce has to open for business. Akira Uchiha easily sneaked into the second floor of the Chamber of Commerce. The innermost room on the second floor is not locked. Akira Uchiha easily walked in after letting Watergate and the others wait outside. In the luxuriously decorated room, a middle-aged man sat in the middle of the chair. "Guest, what can I do for you?" The middle-aged man looked at the kid in front of him cautiously. Akira Uchiha smiled and said, "I do have something to talk to you about." He gently closed the door of the room, and when the middle-aged man was surprised, an illusion covered the middle-aged man's head. "Some time ago, did you sell a lot of food to the Wind Nation?" Seeing the middle-aged man enter a hypnotic state, Akira Uchiha asked very impolitely. In this state, as long as it is a memory that can be retained in the middle-aged man's brain, he can ask. This is much more convenient than would Leaf's intelligence personnel to search the brain. That kind of secret technique is very damaging to the brain. After being used once, even a genius can become a fool. Yes. The middle-aged man in the illusion hesitated for a moment and replied. Is it the Chamber of Commerce's own idea, or the Sand Village's ninjas sneaked in to negotiate? Most of the Chamber of Commerce in the capital are involved, and the so-called Chamber of Commerce's idea must have been approved by the daimyo, otherwise, no one would dare to be so crazy. No, it's not. It's Ryoma-sama who took the lead. Because of the importance of this matter, we wanted to hold a meeting to discuss it with the daimyo. But Ryoma-sama said, he has already obtained the daimyo's consent. Who is Ryoma? One of the 12 guardian ninjas. He is the daimyo's most trusted guard. It seems that there are other secrets. Akira Uchiha is very doubtful about whether the daimyo really knows about this matter. Then when is the next negotiation? Akira Uchiha asked the last question. 3 days later. Sakura Shinobu will come for a second negotiation. The location is... Akira Uchiha nodded. After a snap of fingers, the middle-aged man fell asleep on the table. When the middle-aged man wakes up, he will only remember that he accidentally fell asleep because he was too tired. But it doesn't matter. Akira Uchiha has already obtained the information he needs. One is Ryoma-sama, one of the 12 guardian ninjas, and the other is the location and time of the negotiation. This kind of information was already enough for him. Chapter 173. You haven't carried out an A-rank mission yet, right? In the forest of the Fire Nation, Akira Uchiha asked Watergate. Little Sun was still a genin. Of course, he was not qualified to carry out an A-rank mission. After all, once the mission reached A-rank, it meant that the enemy would be at least a jonin or above. Jiraiya would not let his precious disciple carry out such a mission unless there was something wrong with his brain. He was not Orochimaru, who wanted to kill his disciple. Then you should be prepared. This mission may be upgraded to an A-rank mission. Akira Uchiha gloated. Watergate nodded. Even if he was asked to deal with a jonin, he would not hesitate. Although the war brought death to ninjas, it also allowed them to grow at an abnormal speed. Less than a year ago, he was still a student of the Ninja Academy. But now, he was a qualified killing machine. But even so, Watergate still felt that he had been cheated. Ever since he joined Shen's team, his peaceful life seemed to have drifted away from him. He was starting to wonder if he had been tricked by his good friend. Seeing Watergate frowning, Akira Uchiha thought that he was a little scared, so he patted Watergate's shoulder. Watergate, be excited. This is your first time. Don't suppress yourself. If you feel uncomfortable, just say it. At this time, Akira Uchiha and Watergate were squatting on a big tree near the forest's main road. On one hand, they were preparing to ambush Sakura Shinobu. On the other hand, it was convenient for them to monitor the movements in the capital. Although the 4 people in the team did not have any detection ability, Big White and the large number of snakes were of great help to Akira Uchiha. The snakes that were psychic were distributed in a wide range in the forest near the daimyo prefecture. Once there was any abnormal situation, the pythons would immediately send a message to Big White. Ambushing a team was not that easy. Although the intelligence said that Sakura Shinobu would arrive in 3 days, there was no specific time. They could only use this stupid method to wait for the enemy. After waiting for a long time, Watergate began to cherish the time and took the time to practice ninjutsu. After all, the wind attribute chakra, whether in form or nature, it was not easy to complete. However, for Watergate, his foundation was very solid. What he lacked was a high-level ninjutsu with strong destructive power. Therefore, there was nothing more suitable than rolling meatballs. If there was one, he would roll 2. Naturally, Uchiha-chan knew how to use this technique. There was a training method in the manga, so he could use it a long time ago. So next, he was prepared to lead Minato down the path of no return of making meatballs. In fact, when he was 6 years old, Akira Uchiha began to guide Watergate. At that time, when he developed the strange strength kunai, Watergate also followed him for a while, but in the end, because he could not control chakra accurately like him, he gave up. But this process still laid a good foundation for Watergate's helix theory of chakra transformation. Watergate can definitely use Rasengan earlier than in the original work. At this time, Big White, who wanted to be a quiet snake beauty, came out of Akira Uchiha's clothes and barked at him. "What's wrong?" Watergate stopped. "There are ninjas coming, get ready to fight." After saying that, Uchiha-chan leaped away from the tree he was originally staying on and disappeared after a few leaps. Seeing his movements, 2 people jumped out from the other 2 trees and followed closely behind him. According to Big White's information, there were traces of ninjas at the front where the snakes were scattered, but the intensity was not strong, indicating that he could deal with the enemy's strength. This was also Akira Uchiha's confidence. If it was really an enemy he could not afford to offend, he would definitely take Watergate, Mikoto, and the rope tree and run away without hesitation. After all, he was now the commander. No matter what, his mind had to be clear. Having a good mind was especially important for a ninja captain, even more important than how strong he was. After all, every decision he made was responsible for the lives of 4 people, including himself. This was what the already dead Pomuro told him with her life. The 4 young ninjas moved quickly, and the sound they made while moving was almost undetectable. According to the direction given by Big White, the 4 moved in a line, with Akira Uchiha at the front, followed by Mikoto, then Watergate, and finally the rope tree. The snake's range of activity was really wide. Akira Uchiha and the others ran for almost 10 kilometers before they reached the place where the ninjas' traces were. After confirming that there were no enemies around, Akira Uchiha jumped down from the tree and found that there were indeed traces of fire on the ground, and there were also food scraps thrown to the side. It seemed like they had eaten lunch here. Akira Uchiha stretched out a finger and placed it in the fire. He could still feel a faint trace of heat. It seemed like the other party had just left. Immediately after, the rope tree also bent down to examine carefully. Under the sunlight, the rope tree's face was very clear. He saw his nose twitch, then sniff the food scraps and murmur, "It smells so good." This yearning tone made Akira Uchiha think that the rope tree looked like he was about to eat the food while it was still warm. There must be a female ninja in the enemy team. The rope tree made this judgment with a confident and calm tone. That determined expression made Akira Uchiha look askance. "Rope tree, don't tell me you're in love." Chapter 174. In fact, from a certain perspective, Rope Tree was right. There was indeed a unique aroma coming from the remains of the food, and it was different from the usual aroma. It seemed that Rope Tree was very sensitive to this smell. Otherwise, he wouldn't have discovered this information so quickly. Thus, Akira Uchiha decisively called out Dabai and asked him to ask the surrounding snakes about the whereabouts of this group of people. A few seconds later, Dabai told Akira Uchiha a direction. He also told him that the other party was a standard ninja team, but he didn't know their exact strength. "I'll go take a look. You guys." Akira Uchiha hesitated for a moment. He wanted to act alone. "Chen, we're a team now, so let's act together," Rope Tree spoke up at this moment. He didn't want to be protected by his companions all the time. Akira Uchiha then turned his gaze to Watergate and Mikoto. The two of them nodded at almost the same time. Akira Uchiha immediately agreed. That's right, he couldn't always take care of them like a nanny. Therefore, he simply gave up on his dilemma. Then, he waved his hand and said directly, "Don't worry. Alright, let's go." Stepping on a tree branch, Akira Uchiha leaped into the air and walked toward the direction Dabai had pointed out. After walking for a short while in the forest, Dabai's thermal sensing image appeared in his mind. A ninja team, led by the captain and 3 ninjas, is moving towards the direction of the Land of Fire, and their speed isn't very fast. It can only be said that they are moving at a normal speed. Akira Uchiha gestured with his hand, indicating for them to be careful. He wanted to use this opportunity to observe the other party's strength. However, before they could even take 2 steps, the other party had already stopped. Were we discovered? In the next second, an incomparably sharp wind blade sliced through the branches of a large tree and appeared in front of the 4 of them. Then, in the blink of an eye, it arrived before Akira Uchiha and the others. Then, before anyone could react, the ball of wind seemed to be expanding, spreading, and slicing apart. Wind escape. Sky refining jade. Furthermore, it was an area of effect attack, wind escape. Almost instinctively, the lightning release chakra gathered under Akira Uchiha's feet. His speed was also increased to the maximum in an instant. Then, like a thunderclap, it resounded through the entire forest. It seemed like there was also a scouting-type ninja in their team, and he was even more powerful than Dabai. This thought appeared in Akira Uchiha's mind, but his hands didn't slow down. He reached out to grab Mikoto and quickly lifted her up. Then, with a swift kick, he landed on Shinji's stomach. The Rope Tree had been complaining that he didn't have the chance to witness Akira Uchiha's taijutsu. Now, the opportunity had come. At that moment, the soreness in his body made the Rope Tree climax. His body was thrown backward like a cannonball, and then he hit Watergate behind him in an instant, and then the 2 of them flew out together. Obviously, this kick was accurate and ruthless. It directly sent out a world wave, causing the Rope Tree to groan in pain. After this kick, as long as one wasn't deaf, one could clearly hear the scream. However, Akira Uchiha didn't even look at the 2 of them. He directly carried Mikoto and quickly retreated. The reason why he was carrying Mikoto was purely a subconscious action. Akira Uchiha repeatedly said this in his mind, trying to hypnotize himself. I kicked the Rope Tree to save him. My kick was actually very light. Did I kick the Rope Tree? Why did the Rope Tree fly out? Who did it? Someone was trying to hypnotize himself. Then, the question was, should he hug the girl or should he hug the Rope Tree? Although the Rope Tree was closer to him at that time. In short, if God gave Akira Uchiha another chance to make up for his mistake, he still wouldn't hesitate to kick the girl. Otherwise, should he pick up the Rope Tree and then kick Mikoto away? That would be too beastly. In short, Watergate was very smart. Although he was also hit, he didn't directly touch the girl. When he fell back, he was able to react and adjust his body in time. Boom! After breaking away from the enemy's ninjutsu, wind release immediately erupted in front of them. The violent wind also broke the surrounding trees in half. After putting down Mikoto, Akira Uchiha also quickly pulled Mikoto behind a tree. While covering their body, they also observed the other party's dress. After all, in every country, even the formal ninja dress is different. Just like the ninjas of Sand Village, some people like to wrap themselves up like Arabians. Although they also have a special jonin vest, it seems that not many people wear it. The leader of the ninja was wearing a jonin vest. Judging from the other party's age, he looked like an uncle, and his skin was obviously tanned. He looked at least 30 years old, and his eyes were full of caution. The other ninjas were very young. The oldest one looked like she was only 20 years old, and the remaining 2 were girls in their teens. It's just that one of the girls instantly attracted Akira Uchiha's attention. The little devil was wearing purple clothes, wearing a Sakura Shinobu forehead protector, holding a kunai in his hand, cautiously looking forward, 2 orange bangs on his forehead fluttering in the wind. This person is... Chapter 175. Just as Akira Uchiha was staring at the girl, Watergate quickly supported Rope Tree and returned to his side. Cough, Shen, I think your kick was unnecessary. I could have avoided the attack myself. Rope Tree was a little dissatisfied. Of course, he was dissatisfied. He was too dissatisfied. No one wanted to write, I, the grandson of the first Naruto, died because of my teammate's kick, on their tombstone. I didn't touch you. You fell on your own. It has nothing to do with me. Akira Uchiha was still hypnotizing himself. He looked at Rope Tree as if he was looking at an old lady. He was so scared that his face turned pale. Rope Tree said in his heart, Damn you. Can't you just be a good friend? In fact, his chest didn't hurt that much anymore. Moreover, in that kind of crisis, he felt that he couldn't avoid such an attack. But Rope Tree knew that if he didn't act like this, he would lose face. The enemy's ninjutsu is really unusual. As expected of a jonin, he instantly sent Rope Tree flying. Akira Uchiha frowned and continued to speak. These words made Watergate look sideways. No wonder everyone is the same age, but Shen is already a chunin. It's not without reason. Look at what he said, it's too shameless. If it wasn't for the mark of a size 38 sandal on Rope Tree's abdomen, Watergate would have believed him. So, Akira Uchiha's ability to lie through his teeth is also a kind of language art. Is this the virtue of a leader? Huh? You actually dodged my attack? The middle-aged man's voice interrupted their conversation. He narrowed his eyes and looked over. When he saw the external characteristics of Akira Uchiha and the others, he frowned again. Would Leaf's ninja? Just now, the scout ninja in the team perceived that the ninja was moving towards them. He had thought that the people following them were mercenaries from the great mansion. He didn't expect it to be Wood Leaf's ninja. After all, Wood Leaf was already pinned down on the battlefield. How could he have the time to come to the great Ming Manor to take care of these small matters? This was bad. Did Wood Leaf already know about the deal between the village and the Fire Nation? For a moment, Captain Sakura Shinobu was bewildered. This is the time of the Great Shinobi War. Why are you all here in the Land of Fire at this time? Akira Uchiha asked a nonsensical question. He didn't expect the other party to really answer his question. If you insist, it's for the mission. Everyone could tell that Captain Sakura Shinobu was just spouting nonsense. However, at the same time, Akira Uchiha was observing the other party. He wanted to use this opportunity to obtain some useful information. This was his real purpose. Judging from the bulging muscles of this captain, he should be good at wind release and a taijutsu-type jonin. The ninja in his 20s carried a huge scroll on his back. He should be a puppeteer. And the girl in her teens who was protected in the middle should be the scout ninja of the team. As for the last girl, she was the one who attracted most of Akira Ichibi's attention. Although her appearance was quite different from the future, he could still recognize her. She was the Scorch Release Ninja Pakura. Speaking of which, this is another genius that Akira Uchiha met on the battlefield. Rock Village's Explosion Release, Sand Village's Raza, and now Pakura. This hero of Sakura Shinobu, who was betrayed by the village, was now in her teens and looked very young. In other words, Pakura was still a complete airport. When he thought of her big future, it seemed that all airports had the heart of a busty woman. However, although Pakura was still young, her appearance was already very outstanding. With Akira Uchiha's picky eyes, he could give her an 85 points. So it's not difficult to understand why Rope Tree's eyes were fixed on her. Akira Uchiha even suspected that Raza also liked Pakura. Then, after he became a fourth daimyo Kazekage, he hurriedly wanted to sleep with her, but he was rejected. In the end, Raza was so angry that he betrayed the village's hero. Otherwise, there's no way to explain Raza's suffocating behavior. Be careful, that girl's strength is not simple. Akira Uchiha quickly told his information to the others. Scorch Release was a very tricky Kekkei Genkai. Among these people, Akira Uchiha felt that Pakura was more dangerous. Sakura Shinobu Captain was also surprised. He didn't expect that the information of the genius of his village, Pakura, had already been obtained by Woodleaf. His face was gloomy. It seems that Raza was right. There was indeed a spy in Sakura Shinobu, and it was a hidden spy. Therefore, his anger almost reached a critical point. He waved his hand and attacked. Shuriken. Akira Uchiha tilted his head and dodged the enemy's attack. Go. In this kind of encounter, ninjas from different forces will fight to the death. Hey, are all Woodleaf's ninjas so unafraid of death? The Sand Captain sneered. What's the point of arguing? Akira Uchiha shook his head and ignored such words. Once he enters a combat state, some of his bad habits disappear and are replaced by a calm personality like Orochimaru. This is why he gave Mikoto and Rope Tree such a sense of security. Akira Uchiha's voice didn't fall. He rushed out first. Mikoto's reaction wasn't slow either. She followed closely behind Hagoromo. Watergate and Rope Tree also rushed out. Chapter 176. Akira Uchiha lowered his body and moved quickly. Captain Sakura Shinobu saw Woodleaf Shinobu not only didn't retreat, but also directly rushed over, which made him a little confused. Why, a Chunin and 3 genin dared to rush over? You tell me why? However, he quickly understood. Because the opponent's speed is too fast. This was his first reaction. However, Akira Uchiha can be even faster. When Akira Uchiha was 10 meters away from him, the chakra under his feet suddenly burst out, and his movement speed also soared in an instant. This is the advantage of the cell activation of lightning release chakra. Akira Uchiha's attack rhythm instantly changed, and the enemy simply didn't have time to make an effective response. Then he directly threw the genjutsu of the Sharingan directly at the 20-years-old puppet master. Facing Akira Uchiha's sudden attack, the puppet master had no way to stop it. After Akira Uchiha got close to the puppet master, he jumped up and saw that his kunai was about to pierce the puppet master's head, but Sakura Shinobu pulled his subordinate back. Then the Sand Shinobu's hand quickly turned over, and a complex hand seal was completed in an instant. Wind Release. Great Wind Jutsu. A huge amount of wind under the guidance of a large number of chakra quickly gathered and rushed toward Akira Uchiha's position after destroying many trees. Wind Release. Akira Uchiha, who had already expected the opponent's attack, was already prepared. The destructive power of the A-class Winjutsu, to some extent, is close to that of a natural disaster. So Akira Uchiha directly jumped up. After destroying the tree under Akira Uchiha's feet, the Wind Jutsu rushed toward him without slowing down. It's just that the Wind Jutsu hit an afterimage, and when he looked again, Akira Uchiha had already disappeared from the sky. Body Flicker. Akira Uchiha, who jumped from a high place, held a kunai in his right hand, and at the moment he landed, his left leg suddenly kicked the ground, and at the same time, the lightning release erupted from his body, instantly completing the second acceleration, and like an arrow leaving the bow, he rushed towards the leader of the Sand Village. As for his 3 subordinates, they were already fighting Mikoto, Watergate, and Rope Tree. Good, haha, good. Sakura Shinobu flexed his muscles and rushed forward without dodging. He threw a punch at Akira Uchiha's fist. This punch had speed, strength, and toughness. All 3 were present. If one were to divide taijutsu into Steel Fist and Soft Fist, then Sakura Shinobu was undoubtedly using Steel Fist. Compared to Soft Fist, which was full of tenacity, Steel Fist was the purest and most violent embodiment of aesthetics. Fast, accurate, and ruthless, this is Akira Uchiha's most accurate understanding of his opponent. Akira Uchiha is not a strength-based ninja. His body has not been trained for a long time like Kai Huang, so in the face of this kind of attack, his taijutsu is not strong enough. The other side obviously thought so, but for insurance, Captain Sakura Shinobu's arm continued to be covered with a layer of earth-like armor. According to Sakura Shinobu's estimation, his fist is full of strength and is protected by the earth-style armor, so it should be a piece of cake for him to fight Akira Uchiha's fist. Even if Akira Uchiha uses his kunai, he may not be able to pierce through the Earth-style armor. But Akira Uchiha doesn't need to pierce through the Earth-style armor. Why would he need to pierce through the Earth-style armor? This is the first time he met someone who can punch him. Maybe it's because of their skill and courage. When they see a ninja of my age, they will subconsciously look down on me? In the eyes of Captain Sakura Shinobu, Akira Uchiha's fist and his fist met. Then, the earth escape technique shattered into pieces like glass. A strong force came, and he felt that he hit the wall. Then his body was like a kite with a broken string, and he was directly hit. When the blood spurted far away, he felt a sharp pain in his arm. Akira Uchiha, who succeeded in his attack, didn't hesitate and directly turned to face the puppeteer. Chidori's sharp spear. In an instant, the elongated raitan cut through the chakra line between the puppet and the puppeteer, cutting off the connection between the two, so it also relieved the pressure of the rope tree. Akira Uchiha's movement speed soared again, and then he instantly approached the enemy's side, and at the same time, his body jumped high, and with great speed and power, his right leg directly kicked the puppeteer's back. The puppeteer's body was directly kicked, and then under the blow, he was severely smashed into the ground, and then bounced up from the ground. After this blow, even if the enemy didn't die, he was half disabled, so Akira Uchiha didn't stop and continued to kill other ninjas. It's just that the puppeteer was followed by the rope tree. Although the rope tree didn't have the strength of Akira Uchiha, he was more powerful. When the enemy was still rolling on the ground, he just arrived, and then he kicked the enemy's head again. Finally, under the black foot of the rope tree, the puppeteer was dead. Chapter 177. Don't know when the sun was blocked by the clouds, the forest was covered with a faint shadow, and the sound of birds in the distance was faintly discernible. Akira Uchiha glanced at Watergate and saw that his arm was burned. Mikoto also looked tired. It seems that the battle just now wasn't easy. "Are you okay, Watergate?" Akira Uchiha asked. "It's just a small injury, but be careful of the opponent's scorch release. Most of them are traceless ninjutsu." Watergate shook his head. Right now, he really isn't Pakura's opponent. Pakura's traceless scorch release put Watergate at a disadvantage in all aspects. Sakura Shinobu, who was sent flying by the monster punch, also covered his bleeding right arm. The two girls were standing next to him with cautious looks on their faces. As for the puppeteer, he was lying on the ground, and his puppets were scattered all over the ground, but the corpse was in a mess. It looked like it was raped. Rope Tree looked a little excited. It seems that this is his masterpiece. Sharingan, Raitan, Chunin, boy. Sakura Shinobu said 4 words in a row. It's really an honor to meet Woodleaf Raitan here. Sakura Shinobu narrowed his eyes. The two girls were surprised when they heard this and focused their attention on Akira Uchiha. As the one who killed the Ichibi, most of the Sand ninjas know this name. Akira Uchiha, who was recognized, was expressionless, but he was cursing in his heart. Am I already so famous? My information is already known by others. It seems that I will have to use more ninjutsu in the future. With Sharingan, how can I be afraid of not having ninjutsu copy? Kakashi was really pitiful now. The only ninjutsu he created in his life was Chidori, but it was stolen by Uchiha-chan a long time ago, and now he wants to extend his little black claw towards Kakashi's copy ninja title. Was there still any law? While Akira Uchiha was still in a daze, Captain Sakura Shinobu continued, "It seems that I was right. A young wood leaf ninja?" He already got the answer from the kid's reaction. Although he wasn't 100% sure that he was Woodleaf Lei Guang, he was 80% sure. "You didn't follow the troops back to Woodleaf, but you're here. That explains a lot," Captain Sakura Shinobu said softly. Before, he thought that maybe it was just a coincidence that Woodleaf Ninja appeared here. Now, he no longer had such thoughts. Everyone knew that the Woodleaf Reiguang was the disciple of one of the Woodleaf Sannin, Orochimaru. Orochimaru definitely knew that he was here. So one thing for sure is that the deal between Sakura Shinobu and the Land of Fire has been discovered by Woodleaf. Akira Uchiha didn't expect that his acquiescence made the other side analyze so many things. But this is the gap of experience, it has nothing to do with strength. I admit that this mission has failed. You can go back and report. Let's end this here, and go back to our respective villages. What do you think, Wood Leaf Reiguang? Captain Sakura Shinobu asked softly. Just now, the two teams were still fighting for their lives, and in the blink of an eye, they started to negotiate again. This is indeed a great irony. But for Captain Sakura Shinobu, he has been a jonin for many years, and he knows when to do what to do to minimize the loss. Since Woodleaf Ninja has already found out, it's useless to kill the other side now, and he doesn't think that he can easily kill the other side. So in this case, the most reasonable thing to do is to leave with his subordinates. In this way, he can protect the safety of his subordinates and quickly bring the news back to the Sand-Hidden Village. The sooner the Sand-Hidden Village knows the information, the more they can take the initiative. If he forces to fight, then his team is likely to be wiped out. We don't have any deep hatred, and there is no need to continue to cause more damage. If you insist on fighting with me, your subordinates may also die. You don't want this to happen. Captain Sakura Shinobu advised seriously. But I need evidence, otherwise the daimyo won't admit it. Akira Uchiha replied faintly. Is that so? But I need to remind you that I have a time appointment with one of the guardian ninjas, Ryoma. If I don't show up on time, they will definitely come out to find me. If they see Woodleaf Ninja, they will definitely want to kill you. If we delay like this, no one will benefit, don't you think? Akira Uchiha was also surprised. He didn't intend to let Sakura Shinobu go. Now that the guardian ninjas are coming, it is even more important to deal with them quickly. Thinking of this, Akira Uchiha didn't want to waste time with the other side. When the other party wanted to continue speaking, he quickly raised his hand without any warning. What he threw out was not a shuriken, but a Chidori sharp spear with lightning in his hand that pierced towards the other party. At this time, Sakura Shinobu was also in a state of high tension, and has been paying attention to the other side's movements. Before Akira Uchiha's attack arrived, Sakura Shinobu was very flexible and dodged to the left and right. After all, they have already felt the danger of Akira Uchiha's lightning release, and dodging was a matter of course. One of the girls threw the kunai in her hand towards Akira Uchiha. Akira Uchiha didn't move at all, he maintained his speed and just slightly tilted his head to avoid the attack. The kunai's attack had limited effect. Be careful. Mikoto took out her kunai and blocked Akira Uchiha's back. It turned out that the kunai that had turned back had shot at him from behind. Remote control of chakra strings? Puppet jutsu? In an instant, these ideas appeared in Akira Uchiha's mind. But at this time, the attacks of the three members of the Sand team also arrived. Sakura Shinobu's speed was the fastest. He rushed to Akira Uchiha's side before the ninjutsu of his two teammates arrived. This time, the other side learned his lesson and didn't use his fists. The two clashed 3 times in a row, and finally, Akira Uchiha found an opening and kicked the other side's lower abdomen. At the same time, Pakura's ninjutsu also arrived. 6 fireballs under Pakura's control attacked Akira Uchiha's team. The fireballs began to expand as they approached. Akira Uchiha's Chidori directly cut through the fireballs, and then let them hit the tree behind him, making a hissing sound. At this time, the other Sakura Shinobu finally arrived. She quickly formed a seal with her hands. Akira Uchiha's movement immediately froze. He saw a tree quickly growing out of the soil. Then the tree grew bigger and bigger, and Akira Uchiha's body was entangled by the vines of the tree like a SM would release. Of course, it was impossible. This was the first time Akira Uchiha encountered this kind of situation. So his expression was a bit strange. This is genjutsu, you actually used genjutsu on me? Girl, are you sure you're not joking? Chapter 178. Tree Bind is an extremely powerful genjutsu. The caster will turn into a big tree behind the opponent and use the branches to bind the opponent's movements. So when the girl found out that Woodleaf didn't react to her genjutsu, she thought that her genjutsu worked. But when she was about to show a victorious smile, her opponent suddenly moved. In just a moment, Akira Uchiha disappeared into the vines, and then his afterimage slowly gathered in the air. He crossed his arms and looked down at Sakura Shinobu. His Sharingan quickly rotated, making him look very ghostly. "You're the first person to use genjutsu on me. Should I praise you for your boldness, or should I say that you are arrogant?" Uchiha-chan smiled. "It's a pity that your genjutsu can't compare to mine." "Damn it!" Hearing Akira Uchiha's ridicule, Sakura Shinobu's face turned red. Only now did she know that she was played. But the genjutsu that even her sensei praised was useless in front of him. Is this the power of the Sharingan? She wanted to take out her kunai and rush over to fight 300 rounds with him, then use her pantyhose legs to step on his hateful face. But this was only a delusion, because her body was tightly bound by the vines. She couldn't move. Obviously, her genjutsu was reflected by the opponent, and she couldn't break it. For a genjutsu ninja, this is an unforgettable shame. "Gariello! Are you okay, Gariello?" Pakura hurriedly called out her teammate's name, but the opponent's eyes were dull. How could she not know that her friend was under genjutsu? Then, the Sakura Shinobu named Gariello's kunai fell to the ground with a clang. His whole body seemed to have suffered a heavy blow and fainted. Huh? Akira Uchiha just heard Pakura call the opponent's name. It seems to be Gariello. Why does this name sound so familiar? Akira Uchiha was also surprised. He carefully looked at her appearance. She had shoulder-length sandy short hair and was wearing a black ninja uniform. She looked quite cute. It was just that she looked like she was having an epileptic fit right now. She kept spitting saliva out of her mouth, which really ruined her image. But when he thought about it carefully, this girl was indeed somewhat similar to Han Ju. Oh, I understand. In other words, Akira Uchiha just ravaged Gaara's mother in the illusion space. Alright, let's use a less evil word. I did hit him. In any case, no one knew what he had done. But so be it. What's the big deal? Some time ago, didn't Akira Uchiha also beat up Gaara's father, Raza? He even cut off the arm that Raza used to vent his adolescent hormones. On second thought, Akira Uchiha had dismembered Gaara's pet, Shikaku, with Raitan not long ago. What a sin. It seems that this hatred seems to be growing, and there's a tendency to develop to the point of no return. Captain Sakura Shinobu saw another of his subordinates fall and immediately rushed up. When he was close to Akira Uchiha, he used his right foot as a support and fulcrum, and his left foot exerted force. At the same time, his upper body rotated in the same direction, and a kick with astral wind instantly attacked Akira Uchiha's head. Akira Uchiha immediately crossed his hands in front of his chest, and Raitan gathered on his arms. This was just a localized version of Chidori Ryu, covering the arms with Raitan to increase the defense of the hands. This way, chakra won't be wasted, and when the two sides come into contact, it can also cause some paralysis effect on the other side. But from the feeling from his arms, this kick wasn't as heavy as Akira Uchiha imagined. However, Akira Uchiha had a bad feeling. Originally, Captain Sakura Shinobu's attack was from right to left, but he felt that the opponent's power was from bottom to top. In other words, when Captain Sakura Shinobu attacked, he would rather lose part of the power of the attack and forcibly change the direction of the attack. So it was too late now, and Akira Uchiha had been kicked into the air. "I'm going to kill you, bastard." At this time, Pakura's voice came. She broke through the defense formed by Watergate and Mikoto and jumped up. Akira Uchiha felt a little bad, and it seemed that the opponent had been planning this for a long time. Sure enough, Scorch Release, Phoenix Chow Phoenix. Pakura jumped into the air, surrounded by dozens of large fireballs created by Scorch Release. She didn't rush over just to prepare for this move, otherwise, how could those dozens of fireballs be formed so quickly? Pakura waved her hand fiercely, and the fireballs were like meteorites falling from the sky, rushing towards Akira Uchiha, who was still in the air. He could feel the power of Scorch Release even though he was far away. This move was very similar to Kai Huang's Morning Peacock. However, Kai Huang's Morning Peacock was to quickly improve the body's function, using countless fists to create flames due to friction with the air. But this Phoenix Chow Phoenix was formed by the flames of Pakura's Scorch Release, so it might be more powerful. The fireballs went straight, and the flames dyed the sky red, as bright as the sunrise, as dazzling as the tail feathers of a phoenix. Rope Tree! Akira Uchiha, who was still in the air, shouted. Water Release! Water Wall! Rope Tree fiercely spouted a wall of water from his mouth, and the water wall formed a circle to defend. But the water wall was a B-class ninjutsu. It obviously couldn't withstand the dozens of fireballs formed by the Scorch Release, so the water wall was instantly smashed through. Water Release! Water Bullet Technique! Rope Tree also knew this, so he began to form hand seals. Now all the chakra in his body was gushing out. The Senju clan's chakra was huge. Rope Tree never tried to exhaust chakra, but now he finally experienced it. A large amount of chakra was poured into the ninjutsu, and like a missile, countless water cannons were fired from Rope Tree's hands in all directions, attacking the sky. Within a few meters of Akira Uchiha, Water Release and Fire Release burst out at the same time. Water and fire collided. Akira Uchiha could feel the heat of the fire release on his face, but in the next moment, he was wet by the rain, and then returned to a dry state. Then, he couldn't breathe properly, and there was a faint feeling of suffocation. It turned out that the high temperature of the fire release instantly evaporated, and the scorching steam quickly spread, and the originally clear sky began to gather dark clouds. It's so hot. Akira Uchiha shook his arms, and then his body quickly fell, leaving the scorching steam. After falling to the ground, he quickly stabilized his body. His vision instantly became a vast expanse of white, and he couldn't determine the enemy's position with just his eyes. But fortunately, he had big white, so he could clearly perceive the enemy's position. So, without any hesitation, Uchiha immediately rushed into the fog. Chapter 179. The fog spread throughout the entire forest. The originally clear sky, due to the large amount of steam, caused thick cumulus clouds to condense. Pa, pa, pa. The rain gradually dripped onto the ground, but it still couldn't break through the fog. In less than a minute, the fog had completely enveloped the forest, and the visibility was less than a meter. The current state of being unable to see, although it wasn't intentional, but it was a different kind of advantage for Akira Uchiha. The opponent's perception and illusion-type ninja, Jialu Luo, was still lying on the ground, unconscious. On the other hand, Uchiha Chen's Snake Clan brand radar, Great White, was hanging around his neck, constantly providing him with accurate coordinates. So, what was that awesome ninjutsu called again? That's right, silent killing technique. Akira Uchiha said that he also wanted to copy it and give it a try. So, in order to not let the opponent use wind release to destroy this condition, Akira Uchiha rushed over without hesitation. Not only did his figure disappear, even his aura completely disappeared, as if he had merged into the thick fog. In fact, Akira Uchiha was really thinking too much. Captain Sakura Shinobu didn't think of using wind release to blow away the fog. He just wanted to take advantage of the fog's cover and quickly leave with his subordinates. However, a voice suddenly came from all directions in the fog, making it difficult to hear. 8 places: the throat, spine, lungs, liver, carotid artery, clavicle, kidney, and heart. Which place do you want me to attack? Such a coquettish line, Akira Uchiha had to plagiarize it no matter what. As his voice fell, the sound of a cannonball piercing through the air suddenly sounded. Captain Sakura Shinobu immediately lowered his body. This kind of crazy ninjutsu sounded very powerful. Although he didn't know how the opponent determined his position, his years of vigilance to danger made him move in advance. But at such a close distance, coupled with such a fast firing speed, he could only barely dodge. The kunai that was originally aimed at his heart brushed past his waist and went through. Ah! Captain Sakura Shinobu let out a painful cry. He felt a big hole in his abdomen, as if his kidney was gone. Damn it, I'm going to kill you. Sakura Shinobu wasn't this angry even when his right hand was broken. A broken hand can be reattached, but where can he find a kidney if it's gone? Thus, he clenched his teeth and endured the pain. His hands quickly formed a seal, and then he closed his eyes, as if he had given up on resisting and was waiting for death to come. A few seconds later, Akira Uchiha appeared behind Sakura Shinobu without any warning. Then, Akira Uchiha threw a powerful punch at his neck. However, the Sand Jonin didn't react at all and was turned into a lump of dirt under the monstrous force. Earth Clone. Sakura Shinobu, who was covered in blood, appeared behind Akira Uchiha. He swung his kunai at Akira Uchiha's abdomen. It seemed that he wanted to swap a kidney for a kidney. However, Akira Uchiha, who was hit by the kunai, turned into a cloud of smoke. Then, Akira Uchiha appeared behind Sakura Shinobu. Then, with a thunderous sound, Chidori's sharp spear directly pierced through Sakura Shinobu's chest. This feeling is really good. Akira Uchiha felt that this silent killing technique was unexpectedly useful. In the future, when he learned the Dark Walk Jutsu, coupled with a unique body flicker technique left by Uchiha, this would be a high-level silent killing technique. It's much better than Zabuza's Mist Concealment Jutsu. Just when Akira Uchiha was still fantasizing, the smoke finally dissipated under the soaking of the rain. Pakura, who found Galyuri, heard his voice and raised her head. But what appeared in front of her was the thunder release piercing her captain's chest. "Run!" Pakura, Captain Sakura Shinobu, who was still alive, murmured. But at this time, the girl didn't care about running away. She was no longer calm and directly rushed toward Akira Uchiha. Akira Uchiha grabbed Sakura Shinobu's clothes and threw him out. Sakura Shinobu, who was about to die, was thrown out by Akira Uchiha as a shield, just in time to block Pakura's steam kill. So, this person was first electrocuted, then steamed. Finally, he couldn't be more dead. There was a strong fragrance in the air. This fragrance was the fragrance that the rope tree couldn't forget. It seems that this is the unique smell after Pakura's steam kill. The withered body blocked Akira Uchiha and Pakura's sight. Chidori's sharp spear pierced through the body in front of him without any hindrance, and then directly stabbed Pakura, who wanted to catch the body. Pakura obviously didn't expect this. She saw her captain was killed by her own steam kill, and at this time, she was already flustered. From Akira Uchiha's vision, of course, he couldn't see Pakura's facial expression, but he could still feel the girl's panic. In the face of an unexpected killing move, who can keep calm? The future hero of the Sand Village, Pakura, is about to die in the hands of Woodleaf's thunder release. This is definitely good news for Woodleaf. This is probably good news for Pakura, who will die in the hands of her village in the future. Right? Death will come in the next moment, of course, if it can come in the next moment. This was because there was a sudden disruption. Earth release directly blocked in front of Pakura. Then shurikens came at her from all directions. This was a large-scale attack, just like someone who released a shuriken shadow clone technique. The shurikens were instantly inserted into the ground or hit the earth wall. Akira Uchiha's reaction was naturally fast. He tightened his legs, then jumped high, then grabbed the trunk, bent his arms, and easily flipped a few meters high on a branch. However, because of this sudden attack, he had no choice but to give up on attacking Pakura, even though Pakura's attack was very powerful. Her soft chest was in front of him. After all, the opportunity to attack was so fleeting, and the opportunity to kill her was already gone. At this time, Watergate appeared beside Akira Uchiha while holding a rope tree that was exhausted, followed by Mikoto's figure. The four gathered together and didn't speak. Because of the arrival of another force, the environment began to quiet down. Akira Uchiha stood on the branch, then he held the trunk with one hand and looked down. His direction and height were just enough to face the new enemy. Then, Akira Uchiha was furious. This was the first time he was so angry. Rope tree. What are the consequences of killing the daimyo's guardian ninja 12? The relationship between Woodleaf and the guardian ninja is so. As long as you don't get caught, there won't be any consequences. Good. Then I've decided, Guardian Ninja 12 will disappear from today. Chapter 180. The 7 ninjas that suddenly appeared in front of him were all dressed in the same way, with the word fire on their waists. Woodleaf Ninja. Why are you here? A black-haired ninja asked coldly. At the same time, the other 6 ninjas gradually surrounded him in a semicircle. The Umbu received news that Sakura Shinobu colluded with the ninjas of the Fire Country and intended to murder the daimyo. Under the order of Naruto-sama, we came to investigate. Akira Uchiha said casually while replying to Chakra. The black-haired ninja showed an unnatural expression. We are Guardian Ninja 12, the daimyo's guards. Since this matter happened in the daimyo mansion, leave it to us, you can go back. Is that so? Akira Uchiha laughed. But I am very suspicious. By the way, are you Sakura Shinobu's accomplices? What did you say? Do you want to die, little brat? A middle-aged man with a dark face stood out. What, you want to kill me? Akira Uchiha crossed his chest with a look of disdain. Or, can you bear the anger of Woodleaf? When the ninja heard the name Woodleaf, he became hesitant. It was obvious that he was very afraid of Woodleaf. And the rat hiding in the tree, come out, I have already found your figure. Akira Uchiha said to the direction of a big tree. Swoosh. A figure appeared on the branch and looked at Akira Uchiha condescendingly. Don't try to be smart. A cold voice sounded. Isn't it better to leave quickly, little brat of Woodleaf? Akira Uchiha looked up and saw a man with white hair and a gloomy face. It seemed that this middle-aged ninja was the so-called Ryoma, the daimyo's most trusted guardian ninja. And we, Guardian Ninja 12, have always minded our own business with Woodleaf. This is the daimyo's territory, don't meddle in other people's business. Is that so? There's such a thing? You are working with enemy ninjas, and you have the face to say such words? Uchiha-chan shook his head. I really didn't expect that one day, the ninjas of the Land of Fire would cooperate with the ninjas of Sakura Shinobu Village for benefits. It's really ironic. When he heard Akira Uchiha's words, Ryuma's expression sank. Originally, he thought that with the reputation of the 12 Guardian Shinobu, he could trick Woodleaf's ninjas and then take over Sakura Shinobu. But from the other party's words, it seemed that they had already discovered the secret of this place. In that case, no matter what, they could not let these brats leave. However, he was starting to get scared. Could it be that Woodleaf already knew? Akira Uchiha clapped his hands and said, Seeing your cowering faces makes me feel much better. But this still can't quell the anger in my chest. But it doesn't matter. Because I will kill you and announce the evidence of your crimes to Woodleaf Village. Akira Uchiha said coldly. So, are you ready to meet your death? Bastards. As soon as Akira Uchiha's words fell, a kunai suddenly shot from his hand toward a ninja who was approaching him. The loud sound echoed in the air. The ninja tried to block the kunai with his long sword. In fact, he thought too much. Now, in the ninja world, only Reikage can catch a kunai with his bare hands. He obviously didn't belong to that level. Sure enough, the kunai rotated and directly penetrated the long sword, and then without slowing down, it shot through his head. Bang! His whole head directly exploded. The ninja couldn't believe that he had died so easily. Akira Uchiha stood next to the ninja's body, blood flowed on the ground where he stood, and blood splashed everywhere. Such a bloody scene also stimulated the rest of the ninjas. How can he be so strong, just in an instant? He was killed. The same thought appeared in their minds at the same time. Is this the so-called Guardian Ninja 12? So it's nothing. Akira Uchiha shook his head. In fact, it's not that they are weak. In the face of a Chunin kid, and they have the advantage in numbers, in this case, few people will be cautious. Akira Uchiha's words haven't fallen. Another ninja appeared behind Akira Uchiha and stabbed his back with a kunai. Snap. The crisp sound of fingers sounded. The ninja felt that Akira Uchiha, who was in front of him before, disappeared, and the face of Sandame Naruto was replaced by the old face of Sandame Naruto. Genjutsu? Damn it. Then the sound of a kunai cutting through the neck. Blood splashed directly. The ninja died directly in his sleep. The two deaths in an instant made the other ninjas who were originally looking down on him coldly. Go and inform Hokuto, let the four of them prepare that technique immediately, we will lure the enemy over. Ryuma said hurriedly. Ryuma couldn't help but be afraid. In just a few minutes, two of his companions died in the hands of that kid, which made him feel a sense of fear. Only that technique can make him feel at ease. After all, no one can survive under that technique. Then Ryuma waved his hand, and in an instant, countless shuriken kunai shot towards Akira Uchiha from all directions. You want to compete with me? You are really stupid. Akira Uchiha laughed. He rarely showed off his shuriken now. After all, the opponents he faced now can't be defeated by shuriken. However, this doesn't hinder the growth of his shuriken attributes. Akira Uchiha crossed his hands and touched the belt on his left and right wrists, and suddenly two black shuriken appeared on his fingertips. Swish! 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 He threw it out without hesitation, and his arms began to wave quickly and repeatedly, and the flying shuriken changed from a few to more than a dozen. Then his speed became faster and faster, and his movements seemed to be phantoms. The shuriken changed from a dozen to hundreds, and in an instant, they flew directly like insects. There were constantly kunai colliding with shuriken, kunai colliding with kunai, and sparks burst out from time to time because of the collision of weapons in the sky. For a time, 8 ninjas were suppressed by a kid. After a while, on the ground and near Akira Uchiha's position, countless shuriken were nailed to the ground, and the two sides stopped. Are you ready to die? Akira Uchiha's cold voice fell with endless killing intent, and at the same time, his figure disappeared. Be alert. At the moment when Akira Uchiha disappeared, Ryuma shouted. The 8 ninjas instantly formed a circle, back to back with each other, vigilantly glancing around. Swish! Akira Uchiha's figure reappeared. Where is he? The black-haired ninja shouted, but in an instant, Akira Uchiha disappeared again, but before he disappeared, a kunai shot towards them. Akira Uchiha disappeared and appeared again at an extremely fast speed, as if he used the clone jutsu, attacking the 12 guardian ninjas from more than a dozen positions at the same time. Ryuma felt a burst of shock, and he murmured, after the second Naruto, is a new ninja world's fastest ninja? Chapter 181. Akira Uchiha fired a dozen kunai at the guardian ninjas from their blind spots. Water release. Water curtain. One of the ninjas quickly formed hand seals. As the kunai flew over, a layer of water curtain rose to block Akira Uchiha's attack. Bang! The kunai flashed, and the explosive talisman stuck on it exploded with a loud bang. This explosion seemed to be the beginning. More than a dozen kunai exploded one after another, disrupting the defensive formation formed by the guardian ninjas. One of the ninjas quickly jumped up, preparing to leave the range of the explosive tag. However, before he could stabilize himself, Akira Uchiha appeared behind him and punched him in the chest. The ninja's face was still frozen with fear. He didn't even have time to scream before he was sent flying by the punch. The next moment, more than a dozen shurikens flew toward Akira Uchiha. However, his body was like an afterimage. The shurikens passed through his afterimage and stabbed into another of his companions. The ninja who was stabbed by the shurikens in Chunin staggered before falling down weakly. Be careful. He is very fast. Ryoma shouted angrily when he saw the situation. In the blink of an eye, Akira Uchiha disappeared again. This time, he appeared beside the leftmost ninja. To his surprise, the ninja turned around and stabbed at Akira Uchiha the moment he appeared. Bang! Sparks flew as Akira Uchiha blocked the ninja's attack. So, you are a perception-type ninja. No wonder you can predict my position. After saying that, without waiting for the ninja to attack again, Akira Uchiha disappeared before him. Changing positions after each shot was the key to a group fight. Otherwise, it would be easy to fall into the enemy's trap. Sure enough, the moment he disappeared, a wind blade shot toward him from afar. After a loud bang, dust covered Akira Uchiha's position. water release, water gourd. Seeing Shen's fast speed, a ninja quickly formed hand seals and sprayed out a sticky liquid that stuck to the ground. He wanted to seal off Shen's movements. Seeing that, Shen placed his hands on the ground. The second style of Chidori school. A large amount of electricity was injected into the ground. The lightning escaped through the earth and quickly flowed towards the other party. The ninja didn't know what was going on. He was hit by Chidori and fell to the ground. Akira Uchiha's figure flashed again and rushed in front of a ninja. His sharp blade slashed at the ninja's throat. However, his opponent also blocked his attack with a kunai, and with the help of Akira Uchiha's force, he quickly retreated. As he retreated, his two companions stabbed him from both sides with kunai in their hands. The three of them immediately formed an encirclement and blocked Akira Uchiha from continuing to chase after the previous ninja. Heavenly Leg God. At the same time Akira Uchiha threw out his illusion, his right leg fiercely smashed into the ground. Under the impact of the monstrous force, the two of them were directly sent flying. Bang! The two knocked down several large trees before their bodies came to a stop. They stood on a branch and steadied themselves. Akira Uchiha did not give them any time to rest. His body once again turned into a stream of light and appeared in front of them. His kunai slashed down in a semicircle. The two of them quickly retreated. The branches under their feet were easily cut into two by Shen's kunai. Fire release Garuda! One of the ninjas shouted. At the same time, his hands formed a seal. Chakra quickly surged to his chest. A flame in the shape of a fire dragon shot towards Akira Uchiha. At the same time, his companion beside him formed a seal for wind release. Wind release breakthrough. A whirlwind spun and shot towards the fire dragon. The whirlwind and the flames intertwined. Instantly, the flames erupted with twice the power compared to before. Earth release. Multiple layers of earth wall. Akira Uchiha quickly formed a seal and an earth wall was erected before him. Flames flashed and an explosion rang out. All the trees in the path of the wall were quickly annihilated. Tiny wind blades, with the explosion as the epicenter, slashed towards the earth wall. Seeing that, Akira Uchiha could only retreat quickly. I have been waiting for you. A ninja appeared in the path of Shen's retreat. Bang! Akira Uchiha's body collided with the ninja's and his sharp long blade slashed towards Shen's chest. However, when the long blade was just a short distance away from Shen's chest, it suddenly stopped. Lend me your hands, Shen whispered into the ninja's ear. Shen's right hand grabbed the ninja's left hand. Next, he placed both hands together and quickly formed a seal. Fire release. Great fireball technique. A large amount of chakra gathered in Akira Uchiha's mouth. Next, the chakra filled up a huge fireball and shot it towards the incoming ninja. At the same time, Akira Uchiha extended his hand to grab the long blade from the ninja's right hand. Then, he slowly stabbed the blade into the ninja's chest, right in the heart. The ninja who had been hit by the illusion fell to the ground. Rainwater struck the long blade, creating pang 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 sounds. Akira Uchiha's method of killing put a great deal of pressure on the guardian ninjas. After all, this kid's killing methods were too rich. In just a short period of time, shuriken, genjutsu, taijutsu, teleportation, lightning release, fire release, all sorts of abilities were used by Akira Uchiha. This fully demonstrated his versatility. It would appear that he did not have any shortcomings. Under Akira Uchiha's efficient killing methods, only 3 out of the 8 guardian ninjas remained. Could it be that this kid had been training since he was in his mother's womb? Ryuma cursed inwardly. Retreat! Ryuma shouted and took the lead to leave. The other 2 ninjas followed him and ran far away. Ryuma had to leave. If he didn't leave, they would all die before the ninjutsu was completed. Seeing that Akira Uchiha wanted to follow them, Watergate, who had been observing the whole time, loudly reminded him. Shen, be careful of traps. The 12 guardian ninjas were all 12 of them. Now that 3 of them had left, there were still 5 people lying on the ground. Even if you think with your thighs, you would know that the other 4 had gone to set up traps. Watching his friend's performance of slaughtering Jonin was indeed pleasing to the eye. However, Watergate did not want to let Shen take the risk. After all, the shinobi world was very deep. No one knew what the opponent's trump card was. Therefore, you should never let down your guard. I know. You guys clean up the battlefield. I will be back soon. Akira Uchiha said to Watergate with a smile. Akira Uchiha's style of killing and leaving behind future troubles was not his style. Since it was already a fight to the death, it was better to kill all of them, so as not to leave any danger for himself in the future. Even if the opponent had a backup plan, so did he. After saying that, Akira Uchiha jumped high and directly chased after the opponent. 3 minutes later, Akira Uchiha took out a kunai from the chest of a ninja. As the ninja lay down, only Ryuma was left of the 3 people who had just escaped. Shaking the kunai stained with blood in his hand, Akira Uchiha looked at Ryuma for the last time. What, you don't want to run anymore? Run. I don't need to run because you will die here. Kid, although I don't know who you are, it is too dangerous for me to keep a ninja like you alive. Ryuma changed from his previous decadent state. I will tell Daimyo that you and the other guardian ninjas were ambushed by Sakura Shinobu. Even if someone suspects me, with Daimyo protecting me, Wood Leaf won't do anything to me. Ryuma laughed. So sorry, please die here. Are you that confident? Akira Uchiha's tone was very doubtful, as if he was saying, what can you do with a few rotten eggs? It seems that the fight just now didn't wake you up. Although I don't want to say it, this is the case. You are a group of chickens, you know nothing about my horror. Akira Uchiha shook his head. I will let you know why I am so confident. Enjoy the feast. Ryuma laughed and then turned into a pool of water. It turned out that he was just a water clone. At this time, the remaining 4 guardian ninjas finally appeared in Akira Uchiha's vision. The 4 of them stood in 4 directions, surrounding Akira Uchiha in the middle. Suddenly, electric arcs appeared on the bodies of the 4 people, and then in an instant, they became stronger. The 4 people were full of thunder and lightning, and in a moment, they reached the peak. Swish swish swish, 4 arcs of electricity were emitted from the 4 people, and at the same time, they flew into the air and converged into a huge thunder and lightning ball. Then this huge thunder and lightning ball immediately compressed and condensed, slowly shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye, until finally it was compressed into a small sphere with a diameter of 1 meter. From time to time, thick thunder and lightning were shot out from the sphere. Seeing this situation, Akira Uchiha had to admit that the opponent's trump card was indeed strong enough. Ryuma indeed has the capital to be confident. This ninjutsu takes a long time to prepare, so these 4 people have been lying in ambush here for a long time. Although the price is painful, 12 ninjas, now only 5 are left, but it was worth the price to kill this little devil. But is it really going to be so smooth? Akira Uchiha knew there was a trap here, but he still followed. Is he really stupid? You know, the impact of Pakura's Phoenix Chao Huang and Rope Tree's water bullets caused a lot of steam to rise, which changed the weather. At this time, it was already a thunderstorm. In this kind of weather, Sakura Shinobu will tell you, don't fight with Wood Leaf's thunder. Otherwise, you will be struck by lightning. So Akira Uchiha began to move. He lowered his body, then jumped toward the sky. At this time, the rain didn't stop, the wind didn't stop, and the sky was darker than before. Akira Uchiha's right palm naturally spread out, and then stretched his right arm straight toward the sky. Raiton, Chidori's sharp spear. Thunder and lightning pierced the sky. In the sky, the low roar of thunder and the dark flash of lightning suddenly disappeared. No, they didn't disappear. Instead, they were gathered. Although it's not accurate to describe it like this, after all, it's daytime now, but in fact, at this moment, the sky was as bright as day. It was quiet behind Chen, without any sound, as if there was no trace of danger. That is, if there wasn't a bolt of lightning hanging down from the clouds, covering the entire sky, and condensing in Chen's palm, carrying an aura of absolute destruction, it wouldn't have been possible. Ryoma was actually a bit stunned at this moment. He couldn't help but murmur to himself. Is this Kami? Kirin's arrogant head looked down at all living beings from the clouds. When Akira Uchiha waved his hand, he rushed down from the sky. Then hit the ground. Raitun. Thunder Dream Thunder. The 4 guardian ninjas didn't care about anything else at this time. They could only brace themselves to fight. 2 S-class Raitun appeared in front of the world and then collided. In an instant, the electric current was like flowing water from a kettle to a mirror. With the initial point as the center, it spread out in a ring-shaped layer by layer. After a roar, the 2 techniques seemed to have been detonated. The crackling sound of electric current, which was thousands of times more stimulating than Chidori Ryu, instantly sounded. With the expansion of Raitun's ring shape, the super thick thunder and lightning began to scatter below, and the place where the thunder and lightning flowed through, the ground quickly cracked and was destroyed. Akira Uchiha, who was in the air, of course, was also affected by Raitun. This kind of power was not something his small body could block. So, his body instantly disappeared in Raitun. Well, actually, he turned into a cloud of smoke. That's right, the one who used Kirin was just a shadow clone. This ninjutsu only needed Akira Uchiha to change the form of lightning, and then use Chidori to lead it down, and the shadow clone could do this job. This was also the reason why Akira Uchiha was willing to come. For a person like him who was afraid of death, knowing that there was a trap, how could he let his main body take the risk? Because of the collision of the 2 S-class Raituns, a violent explosion sound was produced, and this kind of tremor was felt by the daimyo mansion not far from here. Earthquake! Earthquake! Quickly come and protect me! The daimyo, who was playing mahjong just now, suddenly got under the table, and at the same time, shouted loudly. Help! Where is Guardian Ninja 12? Quickly come and protect me! Ryoma, where the hell are you? Ouch, my mahjong! This damn earthquake! My daimyo 4 joys are gone. At this time, Woodleaf Hidden Village. Bang bang! Come in! Flying Ape Nichiren looked at the Naruto rock outside the window with a sad face. Naruto, Sama, we have found out. The violent chakra wave just now came from the southeast. An Umbu half knelt in front of the table. Southeast? Where is it? Not far from the daimyo mansion. What? Flying Ape Nichiren almost pulled off his beard. Nichiren, I suspect that the Raitun village has made a move on the daimyo mansion. The chakra wave is obviously a Raitun ninjutsu, and only the Raitun village has such a ninjutsu. In the back, Shimura Danzo said with a gloomy face. I suggest that we immediately declare war on the Raitun village, and then take revenge. Ahem, let's see. Flying Ape Nichiren was a little embarrassed. He suddenly remembered that Orochimaru seemed to have told him that he had secretly sent Akira Uchiha to the daimyo mansion to perform a mission, but he forgot how many days it has been. And Flying Ape Nichiren remembered that Akira Uchiha used a super powerful Raitun in the Land of Rain, and the Umbu information was written about it. Could it be that this kid did it? Flying Ape Nichiren secretly vowed, if it is really him, I, Flying Ape Nichiren, will starve to death and jump from the Naruto rock. I will never let him perform a B-level mission again. I swear. Chapter 182. Shen. What's wrong, Watergate? How much longer can we stay here? 15 days of the mission. We can stay for 5 more days. Oh. What's wrong? You want to go back? No. I just want to ask if you can ask Naruto-sama to delay the mission for a while. For example, half a year. At this time, Shan and Watergate were discussing the extension of the mission. Large cumulonimbus clouds floated in the transparent sky, which made the weather slightly cold. However, the heat in the air dissipated the remaining gloomy coldness. Today's weather is perfect for a hot spring. Akira Uchiha let out a long sigh of relief and slid his body into the hot spring pool. Yeah. Watergate closed his eyes and continued to enjoy the decadent life of the famous house. No wonder Jiraiya, Sensei was unwilling to return to the village. Watergate did not understand before. Now, he finally understood his sensei. This choice was too painful. At this time, Rope Tree on the far right was half submerged in the water. His hands were lying on the edge of the pool as he fell asleep in a daze. As soon as he turned over, the water splashed in all directions, making splashing sounds. Number 1. Technician. Give me another spa. Full body. Rope Tree mumbled in his sleep. Suddenly, a series of bubbles emerged from under his body. Rope Tree, who was still in a daze, was immediately awakened. When he saw the bubbles, he immediately shouted at Akira Uchiha. "The water is boiling, get out quickly." Great breakthrough in wind release. Helpless, Akira Uchiha could only use ninjutsu to disperse the smell. "You still have the face to laugh?" Shen grabbed Rope Tree's yellow hair. "Are you going to smoke me and Watergate to death so that you can inherit our inheritance?" "There's nothing we can do about it. We ate so many carrots for lunch." The Rope Tree covered his nose. Even he couldn't stand the stench. Because of the Rope Tree, they couldn't continue soaking in the hot spring. After all, no one could stand the death bombing that occurred every few minutes. At this time, it was already the third day since Akira Uchiha and the others completed the mission. The 4 of them settled down peacefully in the famous mansion. At this point, only one of the 12 ninjas remained. 7 of them were killed by Uchiha Chen, while the other 4 died in the aftermath of the clash of S-class ninjutsu. However, Akira Uchiha did not find the draconic horse's corpse nearby. Thus, it was very possible that the other party saw that the situation was bad and directly fled 3,000 miles away. As for Gori and Pakura, they also took advantage of the time when Akira Uchiha and the 12 ninjas were fighting to escape. Due to the earthquake, the famous mansion was affected by it. It was said that when the daimyo rescued his subordinates, he unfortunately broke his leg. The whole ninja world began to spread the news that the third Raikage assassinated the daimyo of the Land of Fire. Because of the disappearance of the 12 ninjas, the daimyo felt a great sense of crisis. So he could only send his guards to Woodleaf overnight to ask for help. In the letter, the daimyo strongly requested the flying ape Nichiren to send a hero who made outstanding achievements in the war, Woodleaf Raikage, to protect him and investigate the disappearance of the 12 ninjas. After all, who made the other party famous, the daimyo said that his guards can be weak, but they must be famous enough. Unfortunately, this reasonable request was rejected by the third Naruto. For a time, the whole ninja world was surging. As the initiator of this matter, all the members of the first squad shamelessly lived a feudal and corrupt life in the name of chasing Ryoma. Unfortunately, in the past few days, Orochimaru repeatedly sent messages asking them to return to Woodleaf immediately. Helplessly, the group of 4 finally began their journey back to Woodleaf Hidden Village. 2 days later, Woodleaf Hidden Village. In the early morning, the village was still shrouded in a thin layer of fog. During the war, due to various reasons, the village's business district was very depressed, and the entire Woodleaf Hidden Village was also shrouded in a tense atmosphere. This oppressive and suffocating situation lasted for almost 2 years. However, this atmosphere disappeared as soon as the news from the front line reached the village. The Land of Rain surrendered. The demigod asked for peace. We won. This news spread throughout the village in a very short period of time. For the civilians of Woodleaf Hidden Village, this news was naturally worthy of being happy, but it didn't reach the level of excitement for everyone. After all, this is a battle between the entire ninja world. Although it involves the interests of the major countries behind each of them, for the people, they just want to live a stable and peaceful life. However, with the return of the troops, the village finally began to recover some of its former liveliness. After all, these ninjas who have made contributions to the war are the main consumers of Woodleaf Hidden Village. At this time, Tsunade was walking on the long street, constantly greeting the merchants she knew and didn't know. She has already adapted to the identity of the hero of Woodleaf Hidden Village. However, how to say it, this feeling is quite good. Even the gloomy Orochimaru began to smile all day long, with a grin on his face. After walking for a long time, she finally came to the gate. Tsunade-sensei, why are you here? Somewhere in the corner, a slightly surprised voice came, and then from the shadows, a red-haired girl walked out. Since returning from the army, Shina Kushina would come to Woodleaf Hidden Village early in the morning to wait for her. I'm here to ask you to go on a mission. Tsunade smiled. Mission? What mission? Shina Kushina Hidden Village was startled. She has been in the village for so long, and she has never heard of a mission being allowed to go out. Haven't you always wanted to leave the village? I've discussed it with Sandame, and now I'll take you. Hurry up and say yes. Hurry up. Kyubi grabbed the cage and shouted, I've been in this broken village for decades, and I've never left. Hoo. Kyubi cried pitifully, but Shina Kushina Hidden Village ignored him. Shina Kushina hesitated, and said, Tsunade-ne-san, can you postpone it for a few days? Huh? Didn't you go to Naruto's office many times and ask to go to the battlefield? Why are you hesitating now? Tsunade drawled. Oh. I know, you're waiting for that brat? And no. I'm waiting for Mikoto. Shina Kushina Hidden Village's face turned as red as a tomato. Tsunade looked at her and laughed. Haha, I'm just kidding. Orochimaru said they will be back today, so I'm here to remind you. It's just that I didn't expect the famous blood-red chili pepper to become so shy. Shina Kushina Hidden Village's face turned even redder. No. Her words were hurried, and there was a strange ending to them. But before she could finish, a series of footsteps came from outside the gate. In the thin morning fog, 4 figures gradually appeared. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.